I'm partial to the radar being jammed.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, of course you are.
And then might as well shout at people in the thing to let them know that we're doing stuff. Where is it? There it is.
I like that half my general chat is just blocked messages.
Wow.
It's all from one guy. I blocked one guy in this entire server. And half the general chat is blocked messages. That's the reason I did it.
I'm looking for something. I don't know what oh yeah, it's called I almost never use it because I haven't done regular Star Trek streams in a bit.
Wait, who did we just lose?
Boop.
Oh,
And
Ben.
then we say it here, and then there we go. Everything's fine. So, hello everyone. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour. I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian, and I'm doing a episode of the U.S.S. Achilles and its various adventures in the Shackleton Expanse. There will be more coming down the way. How many more? I don't know. Someone else usually covers these, but for now, I will be. And we will get started with a rather cold open. One threat for everybody. One threat for everybody. One threat from... It's a one-threat game. There we go. I'm awake, everybody.
My threat?
You're all enemies of the ship.
No, I just get like one free. We all just get one free
Yeah.
threat to just spend. Yeah.
Just draw my threat real quick.
The start date is actually incorrect on the stream. Whoops. Let's fix that, folks. That's the wrong start date. It should be 6:0241 because it's not long after the last episode. Not too much longer, so let's fix that right now. Do. I know everyone's really concerned about the continuity. Other than me, I mean. And hey.
We're all really concerned with continuity until contract negotiations come. All bets are up.
So we cut to the secrets of the GM. Nah, there's nothing to see in here. We cut to Medbay, where certain Lieutenant Seiya, a doctor of the medical staff, is meeting with Lieutenant Commander Asa, the ship's counselor. And Seiya does not look terribly happy as he stands at attention and holds out a medical pad to you.
I will grab the pad. What does it say?
You will see at the top of the thing a medical report.
Can all of us see this, or is this just the?
So far,
is this just Ada?
So far, just the counselor.
Wait, okay, so where is it? Are you sending it to me?
It's in the Roll20. It's at the top. It should be at the top. Is it at the top? Helps if I actually save it so you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not,
There you go. I know. You're
not developed yet. I'm working on it.
There you go. Learn to hack. Jeez.
Doing a silent slow clap for you right now.
If it's silent, is it really a clap?
Well, if you have psychic powers, you can clap without even moving your hands.
Exactly.
As you're reading it, Seiya says, I believe we should bring this to the commander's attention. Not the specifics, but...
What regular indicate? Ooh. Oh. Oh.
And...
To allow, Yeah, Asa is going to read all of that and say, I concur. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will alert the commander immediately. You are dismissed.
Counselor?
Only you could have role-played that in a way to make me really curious about what was in it.
So what do you do with this
Okay.
information? Does it get lost in the mail? No.
Yeah. No, it fell off the back of the truck. I'm gonna go get coffee. I'll see you guys in an hour. No, I practice good bedside manner, so I would like to go see Commander Thralic in person, in private.
So you send up a message through the computer to meet with her and the urgent in at your office or at the ready room.
Whichever is more convenient for her.
Commander, you have a urgent summons from the chief medical officer.
Am I currently on duty?
You would be. This is shortly after he got beamed up, and you guys have finally gotten all your people aboard, and you got the shuttle aboard and everything.
Then I'll say, meet me in the ready room.
Okay. I will go up to the ready room.
To the ready room we go. It's this one. And eventually I can find the counselor. Where are you? There you are. Boop.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I assume I'm let in.
Yes.
That's when the landmine goes off.
Oh.
Yeah. When you're walking forward through the spaceship and the GM says stop, that's when you have to be concerned. Yeah, Asa will walk in, and she's got the sort of like steely, hard to read expression, and she's going to say, Commander, I have an update on the captain's fitness.
Well, I assume it's not good news then, Counselor.
Can't say it is. He has suffered severe muscle damage, severe neurological tissue damage, and he appears to be under the influence of yet another unknown toxin. I cannot give a prognosis at this time. However, I expect it will be a long and difficult road forward for him, which is why I am strongly recommending that he be placed on temporary medical absence from his post as captain of the Enterprise of the Achilles.
Freudian slip.
You can tell what
I was watching U.S. earlier. It was on my mind.
you know what posting Asa wanted.
Yeah.
Well, I got put on the Achilles. I wanted the Enterprise. It's all big and shiny with an actual med bay and everything.
Well, backwards, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Hey, your hat's not big enough to say that.
Understood, Counselor. If that's your expert medical opinion, then I will forward the relevant information to Command and see what their response is. In the meantime, I'll maintain command of the Achilles. I don't believe that this is worth doing a general announcement to the crew as of yet, but I will bring it up in our next senior staff meeting.
Understood. And she'll begin to walk away, and at the door, she'll just say, "Good luck, Captain." Step out.
And Thralik takes a very deep breath as she suddenly realized that she might be in for a lot more responsibility than she was expecting.
Yeah, and where this is a TV show, this is when the cold open ends, where the opening credits play and cut to commercial.
Exactly.
And now it's a three-threat game.
You mean 4? No.
Yes.
Love a fourth-threat game. Don't always love the repercussions of a fourth-threat game, but I love a fourth-threat game.
I think he did that in a Klingon game once or twice. At least once.
You're ready, room commander.
Alright. What do I have in front of me in terms of things I need to deal with?
Well, all the, you have, 2 people in custody, You have recovered all your escape pods. The crystal has been recovered by the shuttlecraft away team. There's a black box that Captain Penn brought with him from the ship that he was captured on. Also a rock from that planet, which coincidentally is now under biological quarantine given the news.
Yeah, because okay.
Like, that was the first thing Seiya did. Like, hey, where is that rock, by the way? Oh, it's still in biocontainment. Keep it there. But it said it's clean. I don't care. Keep it there.
Yeah. So I want that black box decoded. Send that to whoever our preeminent computer expert is, and have them get cracking on it.
Who would that be? Who would you send those orders to?
Well, I guess that depends on whether cracking this kind of thing is a security role or an engineering role.
This is pure computer decryption, so it would be a science role.
Science role.
We have many scientists.
We do have many scientists. And unfortunately, our best computer scientist is really not someone I'm handing over a black box to.
You sure?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Oh, other updates or reminders. You do have Sister Shreer, who is still in the throes of her own medical distress. McClellan is currently medically indisposed. The only one who's gotten out of medical, I don't know if she's been released yet, is Lieutenant Zydell Ness, because by now her concussion would have been treated. But I don't know if she's still in custody or not. I presume she is, because she's a suspect in the attack against Shishishri in the first place.
Yes.
I mean, I'd assume so.
As a present suspect, yes.
So they're probably being held in the brig currently, now that they're no longer in medical distress.
So yeah, I will get that black box shipped off to the science team with Ensign Ben. Ask them to get
clearly the person
information.
help Ensign Ben.
Oh, of course, sure.
It's supervised then.
As long as there's supervision, certainly.
So, time to take us to a lab. I do have one, don't I? I have corridors.
Think we have labs?
I don't know if I have one pre mapped out, but I can fix that.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. The last time we used labs, it might have actually been on the plane.
Well, I mean, I think Cadet Vizan has a pet lab.
Starfleet tile set.
Like a lab with pets in it, or
Yeah.
You know, Talara has a lab.
A pet Labrador?
Yeah, thank you.
I do not know if she ever actually got permission to have a lab, or if she's only allowed to use a lab under supervision. It's probably only under supervision.
It's
She
probably
has a
under
lab.
supervision, but it's probably like loose supervision at this point, because we have an official everything set up at this point. You know,
She does have the trait of reliable.
she has the trait of reliable, and also for a while she was just kind of on board, but now she's officially on board as a liaison. Which
She was always on board as a liaison.
was she?
No, not at first encounter. That had to be. You guys got
First
that.
encounter was on the station, though.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
So lab. I have a bunch of stuff on the GM layer that aren't relevant anymore. New scene. Not that it much matters momentum-wise, but Ensign Ven, you have new orders.
Uh-oh.
Well, you get told to examine the black box by the captain.
This is the black box from the ship he crashed on, or
The ship that captured him and had an antimatter explosion before it hit the ground.
yeah, okay. I forgot that he managed to we managed to get that black box. Okay.
Do you pull anyone with you, or you're just going into the labs on your lonesome? You don't have to. I'm just pointing it out because I know you can pull people for that sort of thing. I imagine.
Yeah. Do you want Talora's help?
Sure.
Don't worry, she still needs to upgrade your arm.
Forgot she threatened to do that.
Threatened.
Don't tell me I'm wrong.
Do you feel threatened by her
It's
offer?
only
Ben?
a threat if you personally think it's a threat.
Exactly.
I will note that you have been, by order of Dr. Saya, the lab in question is under a biological quarantine. So if you're interacting with anything in there, you have to be wearing a biological hazmat suit or a EVA suit.
Have we been given a reason for the quarantine, or is it just it's under quarantine, don't ask questions?
Suspected biological contaminant.
Okay.
Oh, on the black box, you mean? Not
Yeah.
on the lab? Okay.
Yeah. But it's like the lab itself, it's like, well, that whole room is now a controlled environment space. Like, if you go in there, you should walk in there with a suit. But that won't cost you anything. It's just a matter of whether you're wearing an EVA suit or a hazmat suit. The only difference is that hazmat suits give you the protection, but they don't give you armor. So if something cuts, it's not very cut resistant, whereas EVA suit is more protected, but on the flip side, you're going to have an increased complication because you have fat EVA suit arms. Fingers.
Yeah, we need the saxophone line to start playing as you're putting that, decontaminant gel on each other.
No.
Romance
We have
subplot unlocked.
energy fields now.
They did then too, but no one told them no.
Captain's orders.
They were just like that.
Just a quirk of them. So yeah, no. How heavily protected is Ben and Telora when they enter the lab?
Yeah, presumably we'll wear not like full EVA suits, of course, but
The hazmats.
yeah, they have like them for the medical department, and you see them in a few episodes.
Yeah, I like how it's unspecified biohazard. Is that just the we don't know, or is that the we don't want to tell you?
We don't know for sure, so it's a generic. It's the medical team may or may not know, but it's one of those we're trying to make sure no one else gets curious and pokes at it. It's like that's not your department, that's ours. We don't. It's some sort of biological hazard.
I mean, it can be my department.
Sure, just sign up for Starfleet Medical and get accredited, or get the CMO to sign you off.
Yeah,
I'll just read a book about biohazards.
I'll just read a book.
As soon as you tell me about your feelings.
Yep, so you both suit up in your nice bright red suits with clear face plates. You can hear the hiss of your controlled environments in your suits.
Good. First thing, I presume this is probably more your area of expertise. We should probably check to make sure there are no countermeasures.
Is that the polite way of saying I would set a trap on this?
No. But I'm not as well versed in where such a countermeasure might.
You can't just say yes, it's more endearing. Yeah, I guess we'll go in
on a device like this. I defer to your familiarity.
Excellent.
Yeah, you can just say yes, it's more endearing. We'll go check.
As you pass through a force field.
Would you realize checking for that or placing those as a security thing, not a science thing, generally?
Another field.
But let's take a look regardless.
You see what appears to be a very badly singed, parts of it just obliterated away, hunk of electronics sitting on the workbench.
Well, I wouldn't call this a black box, more like a green and black box?
Well, I mean, being green, is there anything immediately recognizable about it?
Insight engineering difficulty of 2.
Do any of the traits help with that, or is that the reason it's possible?
Depends on the trait. One moment.
Reverse engineering focus.
Romulan and Star Navy.
No, this isn't Romulan
Okay.
make.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Would reverse engineering
well,
get this?
you-
I would say so. Yeah.
Insight engineering.
I'll just
Would you
help
say
you
div
with
3?
analysis. It's a div 3. I can help you with analysis, I imagine.
3, div 2. What are you doing?
Oh, I thought it was div 2.
It's div 2. Yeah.
Okay.
And you don't even have to worry about the superior officer trauma, I don't think.
Nope.
Yeah.
Technically, you outrank her.
Yep.
Technically.
I'll spend a threat
Certainly.
for a third die.
And I am guessing that analysis is an appropriate focus to assist with.
It is. The hell are you doing, Roll20? It's the weird
There you
font. So
That is.
big number, tiny number, big number. I'm like, what the? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fascinating.
So the target was merely 2. 3 were rolled, therefore 3 generate 3 over, so 3 momentum generated. This would appear not to be a black box in the federational sense or even the Romulan naval sense. This seems to be the nav computer of the vessel. So it's the avionics and telemetry and primary computer core or block, if you will, of the system.
Oh, so it's actually better than just a black box.
No.
There's reasons why a black box is more helpful.
Okay.
You do get a free
Black
question
box.
because you're a scientist.
Yeah. A black box
Oh,
with
wait.
various logs and whatnot in it.
Oh, it's engineering
No.
or science roll, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's sensors
Yeah,
or computers. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's. But I.
I do like the idea of the question of if this is a recognizable species design or not, but that's up to you to ask.
Or actually, I think my question will be, yeah, I think that'll be my question. Is this a familiar, is this a familiar technological design hallmark, or is this something totally new?
That will cost you a momentum because I don't think your science roll fires.
Correct.
This is of alien design. This is of no known or encountered species that you've ever seen.
Well, that seems.
I suppose one hallmark that would jump out at you is that it is made for Shackleton space. Various systems had to be acclimated to Shackleton environments, and this is a Shackleton species system.
Good to know.
Would you like to spend momentum for any further questions?
I don't think I have anything specific right now.
Okay.
No, because I don't like. No. So now this is even less likely to be trapped. You still want me to check, don't you?
Please. I don't know. Just want to make sure that there aren't any countermeasures.
Okay, well let's take a look and make sure there aren't any countermeasures to make the ensign comfortable.
Are you eyeballing it or scanning it?
I'm a scientist.
I asked
Scanning it.
Reason plus security, difficulty up to.
She actually has a pretty good security. I mean, it's a 3, but like, that's not terrible for a scientist.
You can have the ship help you if you want, because you can use the ship scanners to help you, rather than your handheld one. Depends if you want the ship to help or not.
No.
Okay. Go ahead, check.
Just on the... I mean, technically it's probably already exposed to our systems, but my handheld tricorder is less important than the computer direct link scan thing, whatever the hell.
Oh, like you're hardwiring into it to scan it, or you're scanning it up close, sort of thing.
Yeah, she's scanning. It's just more like a basic caution of as long as the computer is not necessarily actively doing thing in there. Yeah.
I get you.
There's been things where the computer scans something and that's how it picks up a virus. That's what she's avoiding.
I would never do that as a GM. What are you talking about?
No.
He said lying.
Exotic energy source technology? Question mark.
Yeah.
No. The other one I was going to say was analysis. Does the trait of reliable help?
Not here, no. But it gives you an increased... No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. And we'll give you a momentum to just...
Spending a momentum, you mean?
Yep.
There appears to be no... although this does seem to have an exotic energy signature related to how it would operate, you notice that there is a distinct... Or rather, it operates on an exotic energy system of some kind. It isn't currently powered in any way. You're not detecting any energy signatures or any chemical signs of an explosive. So this thing will... If it blows up, it'll blow up the same way any other electronic blows up, by putting too much juice through it and frying it. But it's not trapped in any particular way.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a hunk of material on the workbench right now.
Yes, that's the main thing I wanted to make sure of. There is nothing in this where if I try to access it improperly, it is literally going to blow up in our faces.
It is inert, and it does not appear to be trapped. Because most sentient species don't tend to trap their navigational computer.
Right. Well, in that
Black
case,
boxes, perhaps, but...
In which case, we should probably get out some portable power cells, try hooking it in, try powering up subsystems and subroutines one at a time, and eventually bring this whole thing online.
Okay. I won't charge you for any opportunity for the things, because you're in a specialized lab for exactly what you're doing. So like a med bay, little things like that are littered around the place. That's the whole reason you bring stuff in here. Plus you've had time, like between this episode and that last episode, to know about it. So I will simply...
And it's not like portable power cells are a hard thing to come by on this ship.
Yeah. Give me control plus engineering, difficulty of 1, assisted by the ship's structure plus engineering, because that's you finding a compatible battery source that will help. Well, that will match the type of energy that it uses.
Reverse engineering.
Yep.
Okay. Just gonna leave that as is, I think. Nice.
I was going to say, like, she can help with exotic energy source technology because she knows what you're reverse engineering too.
You can, yeah. Plus the ship.
Hydraulic, that's your job now. Ha!
Oh shoot! You're right, it is. Let me grab that real quick. Also, what happened? Computers or sensors here?
Structure plus engineering.
Okay.
Okay. The diff was 1. You generated 2 extra. Boop. It is powered on.
All right. Does it appear to require any kind of password access, any kind of specific inputs in order to respond.
It does want your. Actually, the Elkars struggles to understand the language at first, but eventually, after. Actually, you know what? Let's give it a bit of luck here. I'll spend for it. Why not? And
Lovely.
well, that's unfortunate. The computer is able to translate some of the language, like some of the common terminology, but there's a lot of jargon specific to the species that your language computer does not recognize. You see it's a prompt of some kind. It's asking for some sort of input, but you're not sure what it's asking for. You just know that it is turned on, it is receiving power, and it recognizes that someone's trying to interface with it. But what precisely it's asking you to type back, or what it's querying you for, you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can try to put together an interestingly comprehensive translation system for this.
Another option is to try to reckon out what kind of
Kinda.
He vanished mid-sentence. He phased out of
thinking that
existence.
we've given it.
We caught the beginning and end of that, but not the middle.
Yeah, try again.
Okay, let me try that again. Another option is to look at the logic circuits of this thing on a purely mechanical level, because we might not know exactly what it's looking for, but the logic circuits do. And if we can trick the logic circuits into thinking that it's received the input it's looking for, then it might let us continue.
But that does not get around the issue of not understanding the language. If we can't understand the screen, what's to say we'll understand the next 50?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a terrible idea. It would work with most things you understand already. However, this presents its own problem. But I can
It's
do something about that, probably.
It's an alternative, just in case.
We can definitely do that if we don't have a means past the screen once it's translated. I think I can do that, though. Probably.
Well, funny thing, you can, but
I can.
it's an extended task.
Oh, damn. Cease. That was to the feline that just sprinted into the room to start screaming. You were an hour early.
Work 20, magnitude 4, resistance 2, difficulty 2, translating alien language.
Oh.
And when you attempt, it will take up. It will end the scene. I'll be heading off elsewhere before I come back because it does take considerable amount of time to do. You can spend momentum to get a second crack at the can because that implies that your character did the translation rather quickly. So you get 2 shots instead of just 1.
Okay.
Actually, I will knock down for free. Because you do have some of the language, I will knock down one of the resistance. You have some of the language. The barrier here is that you're translating a very technical, specific language that even people of that language group had struggled to understand, unless they're from that profession.
Understood. Reliable trait. As in, she's making a reliable translation.
Yep. Resistance or difficulty.
Difficulty.
Down to 3.
There's the question of if an analysis focus would work.
They would.
Was reason? It was reason. No. Um. If you can have 5 threat and momentum.
Certainly.
Yeah. Don't worry, Ben. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, no. Yes.
Ooh, never mind. That is not the most amazing of things in the world.
No, it is not.
I don't even know what our mission directives are.
They're in the priority 2, I think, at the top. Priority 2 orders.
2?
Rescue mission.
Okay.
Rescue mission?
Oh.
Correct.
Rescue mission and coalition assessment. Okay.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, under 3, preliminary analysis of the coalition. B or C? 3B or 3C?
3B, yep.
Yep. Under the reasonable assumption that, given the last person we captured was a part of the coalition and involved in Pend going poof. No, that was related to, I think. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, it was an L ship, supposedly.
Yes. And then she has the bold. There we go.
So 3, 4, 5 is what you rolled. Target was 3, 2 generated.
Would you like to help or no?
Say again,
Ben
sorry?
is dead again. I was asking Ben if he was helping or not.
He can, if he wants.
Yeah. I'll give a hand.
Another one generated. Boop.
And that is 7 challenge dice, I believe.
Yes. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. Gets you a magnitude. Brings the difficulty down to 2. You recognize that this seems to be your initial assumptions are, in fact, that this is a profession-specific language. So that's why you're kind of having, and you have yet to encounter this. Your computer has yet to encounter this very specific language, and the library database that the Alcarans gave was of a diplomatic and cultural nature rather than a technical nature, because that wasn't their concern. They weren't concerned. They're not as comprehensive in their study as Starfleet would be when they do a language study. But would you like to spend a momentum or threat for a second crack, or is the scene over?
I would assume you would like to get this done quickly.
Yes. We have 5 momentum, so yeah, we'll spend for another crack.
Yeah.
Boop, boop.
And we'll do 4 and 2 this time.
4 red, 2 green.
Yes.
Sure, that's how unhelpful that would be for someone if someone was colorblind. But
4 left, 2 right.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, that's great because it's up and down on my screen.
Amazing.
That's what you get for trying to be the special oddball out there.
Well, no, it's up and down on the right. It's left and right on over my name. Aha.
No, it's up and down over your name on my screen.
What? Why?
Yeah, no, something's weird with my Roll20.
Okay.
Ben, once more, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on 2 is 3 generated. So more than enough. Wait, that's wrong. I gave momentum.
I think you gave us 2 and we spent 2.
There you go. So you actually have 1 float. There we go. Sorry, I've actually had a chance to do the Captain's Log solo stuff, and you have to track you track both and spin them all. Anyway,
Yeah.
I got thrown off a lot. Anyway, give me your challenge test. You did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1 is 4.
We'll spend 1 to reroll 2. The float, in other words.
That gets you 5 on the dot. Boop and boop. 5 on 7 puts you to 12 of 20. 2 magnitude. Difficulty reduced to 1. As you learned that this seems to be, you've learned that there is a standardized version of this language. It isn't completely slapdash as seat of the pants type language. It's a very it follows certain norms that you're familiar with in piloting language. So, a beam, so on and so on. There's certain things that you're finding, but it's not enough to translate everything. But you're getting there. You are, in fact, getting there as the scene ends. Translation continues. We cut to main engineering. Find it. Actually, better question. Where would the chief engineer be at this time? I presume main engineering, but he might be on the bridge.
He'd be in engineering. Things go wrong when he's there.
Yeah, why would I ever go to that weird looking room again?
Boy.
Actually, is McClellan still in sick bay, or is he?
He's still sick bayed, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, Nanerta, it will, without anything more pressing right now, we'll go and see McClellan, and then he's going to go check on the crystal entity.
Cut to med bay. Ness is not there anymore. So she's elsewhere in custody.
Anyone? Okay.
No, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Oh, I said they've been replaced with SNES.
Terrible.
That's bad.
Sega's where it's at anyway. Get wrecked, Nintendo. Except Sega totally lost the console war. But anyway, I try to forget that. Whoops, wrong
Sorry,
thing.
you're not allowed.
Okay, where's the weird engineer? There he is. Boop. Nerda, you enter medbay.
Very good. I think I'll ask this person at the rotunda here if Lieutenant Commander McClellan is conscious and how he's doing otherwise.
The nurse looks it up.
Looks it up. How many patients do you have here right now?
More than you think. No,
It's her job to maintain the books. It's not her job to keep the track of every patient. And also, we do have a lot of patients right now.
what the? I clicked 2, you silly thing.
Thank you, Nurse Ratchet.
Unfortunately, Commander, I am not at liberty to disclose that. You will have to request information from the counselor, the chief medical officer.
You can't tell me if he's awake and able to receive visitors?
That's correct, sir. And they turn the screen around to show you that that it's currently security. It's a medical lockout. They're not. This person is not allowed to see the file, so they can't.
Well,
they don't even know.
Is the counselor in?
Is the counselor in? Would you have left the sick bay, or are you still in your office working on stuff?
Yeah, I'm doing something. But I can always make time.
She's in there. She's in her office right now, sir.
Thank you. I'll ding the door.
Come in.
Hello, counselor.
Oh, Chief Engineer Nanerta, what brings you down here? Did you get lost on your way to engineering?
Sorry, I just had to clear my throat.
You have been there, I know, right?
How's that problem with your waste disposal unit in your quarters?
I'm sorry. Did you just teasing the new guy? What brings you in here?
I was actually hoping to visit with Lieutenant Commander McClellan, but apparently his current status, even where he is and if he's conscious, is locked down.
GM, why would McClellan be locked down?
Reason medicine, difficulty of 1, because you're doing it from the CMO office, assisted by computers medicine. As you look up the file, and you do find, yes, there is a lockout, and you have to put in your it's a medical code lockout, so you have to put in your authorization codes to even look at the file.
All right. 1 threat, 2 momentum.
Whoopsie. Clicked the wrong thing. There we go.
Did they change the font size on the dice roller thing?
Yes.
I don't know what Roll20 is doing.
I think they did.
Sometimes not.
Plus the ship. Oh, I forgot to roll something.
Frolic, do you have the ship or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, sorry, I stepped away.
All right, I got it. Computers.
Someone's got to pick up your slack, so.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, if I still had that commander rank, I'd only have one other person to push off a cliff, and I'd be captain.
True.
The number was, I believe, 1. So you generated 3. You have a comp on the floor. Would you like to get rid of it?
Nah.
Okay. It would seem that the biobed detected a strange surge of chronoton radiation from the patient, at which point it sealed him in the room and then put a special lock on the file, because it's, a medical that sometimes when someone is attacked by a time traveler or is exposed to chronoton radiation in a weird way, sometimes that can result in complications elsewhere in medbay. So the machine, as a safety precaution, kicked in and then sealed it and then made sure only you knew, so in case it was a time travel issue, it would minimize who knew. But other than that, it's just, this was, no doctor ordered this, the computer just did it. Like, it detected something and then it triggered and went, okay, lockdown.
Could this also be like if you're like a Back to the Future scenario where someone is phasing in and out of existence because of time travel? Or is it just like the raw exposure to chronotons?
For momentum, I can answer that.
Oh, take the momentum.
He could be, at present, it could be one of two things. It could be related to the fact that he is temporally jumped forward. So he has, his medical file shows that he does have some odd things about his medical history, because part of the medical history is unattainable due to the Third World War on Earth. But it's also possible that he is currently in the midst of a temporal event. Like, he's, as you say, the Back to the Future moment. If he's in the middle of something, that the computer would translate that as a chronoton radiation. But he's not currently exposed to one, because from the security report and what Nanerta reported, he was shot with a phaser. Like, in the and you know what phaser it was. It's a regular Type 2 phaser. There was nothing. He just went to, and he was shot in the leg. So it's not like he wasn't near anything that gives up. The only thing that really gives out chronoton radiation on a starship is the computer core, because that's how it runs so fast. But he was in the engineering bay, which doesn't have that problem. The computer core is on purpose built away from the warp core, so they don't interact with each other directly.
She's going to frown and say, yes, I'm seeing it now. And she will spin her little desktop around to show it and say, It appears to be some kind of chronoton temporal issue. As time travel is not my specialty, I will alert the science team immediately. However, at present, no, it is the chronoton density in that room is so high, I cannot safely send anyone in.
Well, mind if I take some scans outside the room?
Be my guest.
Immediately, the song pops into my head.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a good song, so I don't mind it. The door stands silent.
It's
I'll
just like a thing people say.
Take out my oh damn it. Take out my engineering tricorder and see what kind of readings I'm getting.
Reason
Down.
reason science, difficulty of 2. The door is in the way.
Okay. So do not think I have
Or medicine, but I assume science is better for you.
Yeah. Quantum phase mechanics for a focus?
Yeah, actually, technically.
Okay. And I'll take a momentum for a third die.
Take a moment.
Yeah, that's 3, I think.
Yes.
1, 2, nothing!
I'm kind of not the only one experiencing that.
Yeah, the room seems fine.
Okay, I'll pick the lock. I've got locksmith. Engineering kit.
Well, you're gonna need to do daring security difficulty 2 to start picking the lock without the medical team who are moving around doing stuff, seeing you sitting at the door doing stuff to it.
I've already been there scanning.
Yeah, but now you're taking out tools and frigging with the door. Like, what are they doing? Unless you want someone to come over and ask what you're doing, then if you don't care.
I don't really want somebody to come over and ask what I'm doing. Daring security diff what?
2. It's not like they're actively watching for this. It's just you're just trying to do it in such a way that they don't notice you're doing it.
Okay. Let's see if trying to see if I can get myself any kind of an edge here. But okay, let's try it as it is. I'll spend another momentum for 3 dice. Oh.
Generate 2, but a threat's on the table.
Quash.
Wash. Okay. Now you can actually try to pick the lock. You're able to definitely use your 3 hands to manipulate the door lock without attracting attention.
Right.
Okay. Give me control security. Or daring security if that's better. Difficulty of 4.
Goodness.
The security on this ship is very difficult to get through.
You're welcome.
I mean, alternatively, you could use engineering. The problem is that you would open the door, but the CMO would be alerted that someone opened the door. Whereas if you're trying to avoid being noticed, you'd have to do a security. You'd have to get around the security in the door.
I'm not really necessarily trying to avoid being noticed. I just want to get in the room.
You can use engineering instead. You'll just set off an alarm, succeed or if you succeed.
It's like, too late, I'm already in the room. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Crime, right? I would like to clarify that it violates a lot of laws.
So what's the it's still diff 4?
It
I'm doing it.
is diff 4, but you can use engineering instead.
Okay.
You're basically bypassing the security lockout without caring whether or not the security system knows you did it. Because you're on a derelict ship, you'd be more worried about it because it might have like disruptor beams or some nonsense. This is a medical door. The most that'll happen is that the doctor will come over and be very upset with you.
Now, hold on. Now, this you may not allow this because of the way it's written, but could I use saboteur talent on this? Which is saying when you make an attack against a structure, machine, or stationary vehicle while in personal combat, i.e., you aren't using a ship's weapon to make. I don't know why I'm reading it to you. I know you hate that. It's on my sheet.
Yeah. No, you could use that. It's not black letter talent, but it's in the spirit of it. I'm fine.
Okay, so yeah, then I'll do it sneakily, but then I get to use engineering because of that talent.
Oh, so it's security, but you're using engineering through security. I get you. Yeah. Yeah, no, that would work. You're sabotaging the security system. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, and 4 dice. Let's see. Take 2 momentum and 1 threat to activate bold.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's reroll 1 and 2. Yeah.
That's charming.
That's 2 of 4.
We're up to 2. Goodness. Okay, I will spend my determination for when you can't figure it out, improvise.
Sure, I'll take that.
So I'll reroll 2. There we go.
Yep, you're able to pop the door.
And I assume there's a very loud klaxon playing now, right?
No, he sabotaged the security system. The door opens and closes, and no one knows anything's wrong.
Yep.
Because I imagine you're very quick, like, I better step through and close the door behind me so no one knows it just opened.
Yep.
Like at most, Cadet Kobach...
Anti-time travel in my medical department roles. Nerda, you're not... You can do this, but you just have to be on the other side of the double doors.
You see...
making cracks about me going to engineering.
McClellan sits on the biobed.
Is he conscious?
Nope, he's asleep at the moment. You can see various readouts on the biobed monitor.
Okay. Does he look okay? I mean, is he...
Insight medicine...
him.
Reason medicine difficulty of 2. Because I imagine you're not using the biobed computer because that would give away that someone's in here.
Yep. Yeah. I'll use my engineering tricorder.
Complication increase because you're using engineering tricorder.
That's fair.
This patient requires an extra power cell. What? Oh, engineering tricorder.
Yeah, well, after when I had to write the thing for bandaging a wound, I have my new value is patching a plasma leak and bandaging a wound is kind of the same thing. So take a momentum for a 3rd die.
Taking momentum.
Medicine. What do you know?
Patient has suffered a severe phaser burn to the left leg. Currently, he seems stable. The patient is sleeping. The burn has had simple first aid done to it to prevent him from going into shock, which you already know that part. You're the one that did it. And no follow-up medical has been done other than putting him to the biobed and giving him somewhere to comfy to lie down on.
It's not showing any chronoton bursts or anything going on now.
Nope.
I will kind of place one of my hands gently on his shoulder and just slightly, hey, McClellan.
No. Oh, hi. Kind of flutters his eyes. My leg. Ow. Looks down. Oh. Wow, whoever that was a terrible shot.
Well, I think it might have had something to do with the fact that you were in midair tackling me to the side, for which, thanks.
You're welcome. How can I help you, Nerda?
Well, I honestly had just come to check on you, but and to say thanks for saving my life.
Yeah.
But apparently, while you were in here resting, there was a chronoton surge, and the room was locked down. I'm not technically supposed to be in here, but I wanted to make sure that you were, okay and not Mirror McClellan or something.
Huh. What the?
Is this something that happens to you from time to time as a person from a
Not
different century?
really. I mean, I've done time travel, but every officer does eventually, right?
Okay.
Well, you serve long enough, right? But not recently,
I've-
anyway. Not here. Not even on the Odyssey, I don't think.
Let's check
Oh!
your what?
Hey, wasn't the computer core interfered with? Like before everything got confused, right? So maybe the computer just had a glitch and gave the wrong reading. That happens sometimes when you reboot the computer systems. You'll have weird blemishes like that. I mean, maybe I time traveled while I was asleep, but I think I would think I would notice. But this really feels like just a computer core glitch to me.
I mean, unless you're a temporal agent.
I sure
Are
hope
you
not.
a temporal agent, McClellan?
No. I mean, I met one once. Well, I didn't meet him. The captain did, but
I've
they
really had enough of people around me not being who they seem to be.
No, I'm me.
So yeah, I'm going to let's check to see if your quantum resonance matches up with everything.
Reason, science, difficulty of 2.
All right, take another moment.
Certainly.
Spit it all.
Oh yeah.
Hey, figured it out.
He matches.
Nothing.
He matches. He has the same quantum signature as you do. He's from your. You both share the same universe.
You and I are from the same universe, anyway.
Yeah, I heard the Achilles is from its own reality. Weird, but I mean that's not
How's
the weirdest
the
I've
leg?
ever heard. Kind of hurts. It'd be nice to get some painkillers. Honestly, I mean it's not like ow screaming pain, but can't exactly stand on it. Did they not treat it at all?
Well.
I mean, it looks like someone just wrapped a bunch of cloth on me and tied it real tight. It's like some engineer did it.
Well, yeah. Look, your leg is not a plasma conduit. If you'd have the dignity to have a plasma conduit or some sort of cybernetic appendage, I probably could have done a better job. But
Ugh, cybernetics, no thanks. I like my soul right where it is.
Make sure not to mention that around Ensign Ven, but no, that was me. Admittedly, you're right. I am an engineer, but
Okay, that makes sense. It's a little tight.
Bleeding, so
Well, it's a phaser burn, so it wouldn't bleed. It's not how that. Anyway, is there anything else I can help you with? Other than you can getting me like painkillers or a doctor or.
I think the doctor is summoning the science team to make sure everything is safe in here. But in the meantime, I'll touch my comm badge. Nanerta to Counselor Asa.
Oh, did you forget something in medical?
No, just want to let you know that there's no chronoton radiation currently coming from McClellan or the room he's in. He is perfectly fine. He's from our universe, but he could really use some medical treatment. I mean, nobody's really touched him since I did my little field engineering thing.
What, Dinertha, what did you do?
Went to see McClellan and to investigate what was wrong with the whatever is causing the chronoton thing. I mean, I have to make sure that the ship's functioning properly.
So you barged into a. She is going to stand up, and like, as she's talking, like you can hear her voice in real world get closer and closer. She says, "So you decided to, of your own volition, charge into a room experiencing a temporal anomaly in an attempt to solve it by yourself?"
I scanned the room before I went into it. There was no evidence of any sort of chronoton or tachyon radiation, so I figured it was safe enough.
Hi, counselor.
Hi, McClellan.
He says his leg hurts. Maybe you
she's
should give him
going
like
to-
some painkillers.
She's gonna like go over to like a console on the wall and wants to do a full room scan for any trace amounts of chronoton radiation.
Reason science assisted by sensor science. Difficulty of 2.
Okay. I'm not gonna have a focus or a talent. Okay. GM.
Yeah.
Value. Despite my experience, I have so much to learn. What I'm doing here is a new experience. I don't like to deal with time travel stuff. This is not something I really know how to do. Well, not that I don't. I'm not experienced in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Then I will roll flat.
Plus the ship. Sensor science. On the button. Yeah, there's no chronoton radiation in here.
Well, I rolled the determination, so.
Oh, no, you got 2 more. You're right. Oop, generate 2 momentum. Sorry. Yep, the ship sensors do, in fact, tell you that the... Oh, and then the computer tells you that the lockdown can be lifted now. Because there's no chronotons in the room.
She sighs and says, "Well, I guess you're right, but I would really rather you practice hesitation and not be so gung-ho in a situation in which time travel is involved." And she's going to turn around and smile and say, "Commander McClellan, you were very brave. How is your leg?"
Kind of hurts. Yeah.
Then-
Not the first time I've been
Meanwhile,
shot.
we'll slide over to the console and see if he can figure out if it's been tampered with in any way to maybe create a false reading.
Reason engineering. Difficulty of 2.
Okay, take a threat for bold.
Certainly. I mean, I'm just glad I got shot in the leg, really. It just kind of stings. Like, I can't really get up and move around on it. But, I'm not dumb enough to just jump off the biobed. That's how you really injure things. Plus, I think I'm losing a bit of circulation to my lower leg. The bandage is tied a little tight. Almost like it's a plasma conduit. But, I'm not complaining. I'm alive and I'm not dying. So, good news.
Next time I'll just let you bleed out. It'll be fine.
Burnout.
This is actually a very well designed and snug emergency tourniquet. I have seen far worse examples of this. Good job, Minerva.
Well, and the commander raised an interesting point of, since someone had been messing with the computer core, maybe this was all some sort of glitch, or it could theoretically have been or damn sabotage.
I mean, if you run a diagnostic level 2 diagnostic on your computer core, that should clear it, whatever it is. It sounds like to me it's just a blip, and a diagnostic should clear it. I mean, if you want to be really thorough, level 1, but we'd have to pull the ship to a complete stop unless your computer core. No, it would have to be. It would have to be. We'd have to sit still for level 1 diagnostic. I don't think we want to do that.
Which
I
is
understand coincidences happen, but what's strange is that you are an officer who is time displaced, and it happens to you out of all of the patients we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a coincidence, but that implies to me that someone didn't want medical getting into this room.
I'm pretty sure he's a temporal agent. I mean, everything he's just said is exactly what a temporal agent would say.
With all due respect, commanders, you are very deftly living up to the reputation of the Achilles as a very paranoid military boat. Sometimes glitches happen. Yeah.
Nerdura will point at him with all three hands. That's just what a temporal agent would say.
Calm.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
calm down. The Federation practices the moral ethos that one is innocent until proven guilty. This is a coincidence. While she's saying that, I want to do my psychiatric analysis skills and try to analyze and see if I think McClellan has been truthful during this conversation.
Insight medicine, difficulty of 2.
Insight medicine.
And complication increase because he is an odd duck. He is from a different time, so he sometimes has weird quirks about him.
He says weird things from another time. Oh no. Oh no.
It's like, that sounds suspicious. It isn't in the 21st century. Sorry.
We don't call them that anymore, Commander.
What do you mean he didn't get reelected? It was stolen.
Okay, insight, medicine, you said comp range +2?
+1, so a total of 2.
+1. Okay. Focus in psychiatry.
Yep.
Okay, take a threat.
Certainly. I said
I'll
certainly.
re-roll the comp.
Give you my threat.
You said difficulty 2, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he's being truthful. His primary emotive state at the moment seems to be discomfort and content in a sense. Like he knows he's somewhere safe and he isn't in any more danger, so he's kind of definitely a person who's been shot before and knows that he's like, oh no, I'm fine. I have no reason to lie, sort of attitude.
Yeah, you get those people in the resistance. You know, it's only the third time a spoon head has hit them.
No longer any danger from time traveling.
But yeah, she'll turn and say, Commander Minerva, can I trust that you will look into this further? I am rather busy at the moment with the number of patients we have. And time travel, I will admit, is not my specialty.
Can I get some painkillers, though, Counselor? This really does hurt.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'll start with the diagnostic, and then after that, I'll figure out. I'll get.
I mean, I could just get
Rylov to help me. Lieutenant Commander Rylov to help me prove that he's a temporal agent.
Right. Do I need a JAG officer?
Thank you. You do not. You are fine. You are fine.
A JAG officer from the future?
I would like a JAG officer before I speak with security. Thank you. I don't like where this is going.
I don't think anything wrong with being a temporal agent, but yep. Good to see you, McClellan. I'll catch up later.
Can't say the same. Have a good one. Have a good day.
Well, Nadurta is not. Nadurta is very obviously just kidding with the guy. He's not actually.
What police? Go ahead.
If he's getting that nervous about it, maybe he is a temporal agent. I'm going to go check on the crystal, and then I'll go down to the computer core and start that level 2.
And away we go to a new scene.
One last thing is just
Sure.
While I am treating him, I want to make small talk with him. You know, ask him questions about his life, that kind of thing. Where I just want to like get a vibe check on this guy, like an informal psychiatric evaluation.
For momentum, you can get a question, some questions answered because you did succeed at the earlier roll, so you could learn about him more.
All right, I'll spend that. Number one, is this guy in a stable mental headspace after everything he's been through?
He's putting on a brave face about it, but because he's trying not to worry people, but he's otherwise okay. Like it's one of those he's been shot at before. He's been in situations. there's that level of like he had the adrenaline spike from earlier, but he's kind of having that. He's had bed rest, so he's kind of processing. But he seems to be dealing with it just fine. It's just that he is processing.
Okay. And two, do I detect that, like in our conversations, that he seems like he's lying about anything?
I won't charge you for that. Your first roll kind of confirmed that already. That he's not trying to lie or anything like that. He's just
Okay.
yeah. He's not. He sees no reason to lie, so he isn't lying.
Good. I just want to make sure.
Sure. Question is,
Paranoid about temporal agents.
McClellan's not used to serving with you people, so it's like, what? I mean, yeah, I ran into a time agent before. I guess. You're an agent. What? No. Where is...
Me for to take it seriously. I really was just kidding around with a sick guy.
Well, you put the idea in my head, and I thought, oh, that's a Corbidian thing to do, so maybe.
Well, from his point of view, he's from the 21st century, where the Third World War was slowly growing. The eugenics war wasn't all that far behind. It's like, he took you somewhat seriously from his background. Most Federation people said, "Oh, very funny." He's like, wait, am I in trouble? So if there's any actually psyche eval, part of that is he is nervous, but it's sort of he is nervous that he's being suspected, but he doesn't get that there's joking going on. But it's not like high level like phobia. It's more of that shadow of the past barking at him, where he's used to unfair policing, shall we say. But on that happy note, where is the commissar? I mean, where is the first committee counselor, Celia? In her quarters, on the bridge, in the lounge.
No, I think I have probably in the lounge. I guess the Achilles doesn't. It's not a civilian ship, so there's not really like working spaces, right?
We have offices.
Yeah, there's offices and stuff. You can requisition an office, especially since you're at. I think you guys are at yellow or green, maybe. Actually, correct. What are you at right now, Commander? Because you're not red. You're not being shot.
Yeah, we're at green right now.
Okay.
I've taken us off yellow alert.
Yeah, so on green alert, you can just ask the crew, hey, if you're not using this space, can I use it? It's like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I mean, I assume she has an office, right? I mean, she's like a temporary, like she's been assigned here like long term.
Well, it's on the down low, so she has her quarters. She doesn't have a formal office because technically speaking, she's just a passenger.
Do they not know about how mixing your work life and your home life can lead to mental disruptions? Starfleet should really update their policy on that. So 21st century.
But that's up to you. So if you want to take requisition office space, the ship. I don't imagine anyone in the senior staff would oppose it. If you wanted to use one.
Technically, she could just requisition anything on the ship.
That's true. Like, you have far more leeway. You have a lot more access. You have the most access than over any other civilian on the ship.
I guess I need to manage the whole council position thing. But before I do that, I need to I need to schedule a meeting with Captain Penn to tell him everything I told Commander Thralick. Because I can't really send that in a message. It has to be in person.
Currently, he's on medical leave, so he is not receiving anyone.
I'll inquire further as to what that means.
You'll be referred to the chief medical officer.
All right, then I will calm the chief medical officer.
I'll put you.
Today's episode.
Yeah.
So you get chimed. Oops. Put you.
Asa here.
Commander, I wanted to check in to see when Captain Penn would be able to take visitors and return to his duties.
Well, you might be waiting for a lot longer. I'm not at liberty to discuss the intimate details of the captain's medical records. However, he has been temporarily relieved of duty, and I would not expect that to change for a few weeks.
As in, the chief medical officer, in consultation with the ship's senior officer, have officially relieved him of command and transferred codes? Or he's not taking visitors until he feels better?
As in, when I brought this up with Commander Tholick, she thought it intimately important to immediately inform Starfleet Command of the updated status quo aboard the vessel.
I will close the comm and open another comm to Commander Tholick.
They're like, you're being
Everyone
chimed.
deserve a goodbye?
She just hung up on you and apropos of nothing.
I didn't know I smelled that bad.
Commander,
Counselor.
don't tell anyone till I get there, and then I'll close that and I'll go to the bridge.
Okay. So I
She's
imagine
really
I was
good at
just
getting people
about
to trust her.
I was just about to call command.
Like, hi, don't say anything. What? Okay, bye, I guess.
You punched in all of the digits to the phone number, and you're like, oh, what now?
Yeah.
We'll figure out what Rylith is doing in a moment. You're probably on the bridge still.
I have to be checking on a certain missing person.
Would you be on the bridge currently, or would you be elsewhere?
Probably on the bridge, because the people are indisposed, or other places.
Oh, would you be at the
And
CO post, or would you be at tactical? Whoop, sorry.
He's probably acting as the one holding the bridge at the moment, but he's helping her with, there's that person that we uncovered that then ran away on the ship somewhere. I need to verify if she's on the ship still.
As Leah heads up, give me reason security, difficulty 2, assisted by sensor security.
Oh, you said inside security?
Reason security.
Reason.
I don't need Satal right now. Go away, Satal.
Investigative techniques?
Yep.
Do you want an assist?
Like through Kasai? Wait, you're not here. You're down. You're down.
Used any crew support yet?
Nope.
First NPC to roll that I didn't control, because McClellan doesn't charge you anything because he's a notable NPC helping you.
Talora has
Because he's a
presence,
temporal
so she doesn't
agent.
count. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe he was a Romulan agent on Earth
sure.
in the 21st century, and then he got time displaced. And so he's working for the Romulans, but like the past Romulans.
Are you watching the stream? Because you're not supposed to read my notes. That's cheating.
Just because
We're
that is
watching
her
Strange New
job.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get to watch it.
Just to check you had that one just for. I was like, so yeah, we'll have her help just because that really is her job. So.
Yep.
She already helped.
Oh, she
Good
has.
job.
Look at that. Lovely. Okay. Fine. Wow. Gonna be like that. I forgot what the difficulty of the task was.
2.
I'll give you a threat.
Certainly. Boop. 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 generated. That person is not aboard the ship.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but we had to make sure. I'm not doing my job if I don't make sure.
As you've confirmed that, Celia walks onto the bridge.
Walks without saying anything to the other and hits the button.
Where's Celia off to?
To meet Commander Throlic.
I will note that you could have just gone to that deck.
No, that's what I said. I said don't do anything till I get there.
Oh, sorry.
Till I get to Throlic.
Oh. I thought you said you're going to the bridge. Like, okay, you're going to the bridge. And then it's like,
Oh no.
and then I walk across the bridge specifically to go down one. I'm like, you went up to deck 1, then down to deck 2.
No, I don't think I said anything about the bridge.
She's like walking.
That's my mistake. Sorry. Well, hi Rylov. Bye Rylov. We'll come back to you in a minute.
Yeah, they're like, what?
She's like walking towards the command bridge with like a giant speech in hand, and then at the last moment turns around and thinks better of it and goes away.
Yeah, the last
She's
time I
like-
made a speech from a command bridge, there was shit tons of court martials and all kinds of drama. I've learned my lesson.
I'm just imagining a funny.
Start doing subtle drive-bys to see if people are doing their jobs. Like, that's what it is.
Oh
Just
yeah.
making sure we're not
Takes
slacking
out
off.
pad, writes down Rylov, puts an X, moves on.
He's like, yeah, he's not. He's in command on the bridge
He
station, but
is,
he's not in the XO's chair. Like, he's not in the
supplementary
chair.
to Rylov is
Yeah.
supplementary to the necessary requirements of the ship.
Yeah, when I get a negative for the end of this episode, I'm blaming you.
Non-regulation haircut. Seriously?
Well, he's Romulan, so he's non-regulation, just totally.
Whoa!
Wow.
The third committee wants a word with you.
Thus.
The door chimes at Throlic.
Enter.
All right. Well, there needs to be a proper order of operations,
Yes.
because otherwise, you will find yourself in the next 2 months driving this boat around, scanning moons for whatever the council decides is interesting around Earth and Vulcan.
Hey Throlic, you just got a reply back from command.
I haven't called command yet.
I've been assuming that during this you've in this interim you've had a chance to report what's happened so far.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going to be a scene.
No. Because there's a bit of a wait time to hear back from them.
Okay.
It's like, here's what's going on. All right, well, stand by. We're going to message you back in a minute. Off screen, you basically had a moment. Like as Celia comes in, you get off the thing, and you're kind of waiting for a call, a response back, because you basically got the strategic operations officer said, "We'll call you back. The admiral's busy. Send us a report. We'll get back to you." Sorry, there's a lot going on right now.
So I'll say, Counselor Celia, can you please elaborate on what the hell you're talking about on my ship?
The neo-religionists want this ship back home. Captain Penn's inability to command at the moment is everything they need. They don't need a strong justification. They just need one that looks acceptable on paper. Right. Anyone could make an argument that a ship of this size under the command of a mere commander should be recalled temporarily, and then that temporarily could turn into forever once you actually get there. I was hoping
What is your suggestion, Counselor?
My suggestion is if you can hold off informing command, I can get to the council and perhaps fast track your assignment from the top instead of from the bottom.
There are some muscles working in Throllic's jaw right now, and she's not saying something.
The antennae are agitated.
Yeah. Counselor, I am currently going about the duties that are expected of me as an acting captain of the U.S.S. Achilles. Part of that involves the timely informing of my regional command of the fact that the captain is indisposed indefinitely. I
Yes, but
respect that there are political considerations back in the core of the Federation. However, those political considerations do not supersede my own duties as a Starfleet officer.
and no one would say they do, but there's always a proper time and order to do things in to make sure the safety of the Federation is guaranteed. You could have asked the counselor to confirm her opinion. That would have delayed long enough for us to get everything in order without violating any of your responsibilities.
Counselor, what it sounds like to me is that you're asking that I have my people go around and do busy work.
All right, if you're not willing to trust that I'm trying to help you, I will be the first one to step over the line to help pull you over. I'll take out the pad that has my orders on it, and I will open it up and hand it to Commander Thralic.
Oh, so I have to give those access. Thank you. 1 second.
This is just to the one that says covert observations,
Yep.
not to the private correspondence.
Well, yeah. Here's my letter. Commander, you should see another document. Subject covert observation.
As you can see, it's not a matter anymore of trying to stay out of the eye of the committee and protect yourself. You've already been targeted. Everything you do is already on the chessboard. If you don't play your pieces correctly, you will lose.
I will glance over the pad.
And it's also a grave violation to show you that.
Someone's getting dinged as a heads up.
So maybe you could cross the line with me to keep the Federation safe.
Counselor, your primary orders here, as you have relayed them to me, are to ensure that the U.S. Achilles is following proper protocol. Suspicions of Captain Panda aside, if I follow the actions you're suggesting, I am confirming the suspicions that the Council has about the Achilles.
Except that you have the advantage that the person who reports what you've done is me. The council only knows what you've done if I tell them what you've done. And if you wanted to wait long enough to get the Achilles in order, and for me to get your appointment as commanding officer of the Achilles in order before going to Starfleet, then it would have been much harder to authorize your removal.
Apologies, Counselor. I appreciate that you are trying to help here. I am not used to working with politicians or having a civilian liaison. I hope I have not caused offense.
It's not my career that was in danger.
Says you.
I should be on a secure communication with Admiral Brennan at some point shortly. As far as I know, information has not progressed past Narendra Station at this point.
Yeah,
And perhaps
your L card blinks at you that you've received the message.
I'll pull it up.
Priority 1. In the roll 20. Oh no, I spent two through it to have it such that you happen to have sent a report before Celia got up to you.
Yeah.
Because I know Celia was trying to end run that, and I was like, whoops, shit. That should cost me to have done that, so.
Well, Counselor, it appears that this posturing is too late. I have my orders for immediate recall to Narendra Station.
Well, would you like to cross the line with me and perhaps finish your mission? Or would you like to acquiesce and see what the other players on the board decide to do with you?
Fogg will stand up and move over to the weapons display with hands clasped behind her back. This is an interesting predicament, Counselor. On one hand, I recall the Achilles. The ship arrives back at dock, and perhaps a political group I disagree with wins some territory. Our mission to rescue the drones on the cube is delayed, causing potential loss of life. On the other hand, I stay out here, ignore a direct order from a command officer.
You hear a chime on your comm badge.
Nanerda to Commander Thralic.
Potentially get court-martialed. Thralic here. Go ahead.
Commander, due to all the sabotage we've encountered recently and the knowledge that someone has definitely been screwing around with the computer core, I'd like to run a level 2 diagnostic. Well, actually, I'd like to run a level 1 diagnostic, but that would require us to drop out of warp and bring the ship to a halt for several hours. I don't figure we've got time for that, but level 2 should get most of the issues, I hope, and it'll only take about half as long.
Your orders,
Lieutenant Commander, what
Commander.
systems did you say were affected by this glitch?
Well, that's the thing. We know that somebody's been mucking around with the computer core, which could, there still could be some things laying out there that we haven't found yet, or maybe not. There is some reason to believe that there are still some glitches going on. There was an apparent sensor error in medbay where the computer supposedly detected a chronoton surge, but more detailed investigation found no residual chronotons or any evidence that such a surge had happened. It caused a medical lockdown, which apparently was completely unnecessary. No big deal there, but such a glitch at the wrong place at the wrong time could create a potentially dangerous situation. Like I said, I think I can catch everything with a level 2. Level 1, as I said, would require us to drop out of warp and pretty much wait until it was done.
I see. Lieutenant Commander, is there any possibility that this could have affected our communications over the last, say, 30 minutes?
Suppose it's possible. Has there been some sort of unusual activity or outages?
Yes, there have been some outages in communications. I suggest that we run a full level 1 diagnostic. I'll order us to drop out of warp immediately.
Aye, Captain. Minerta out.
And then I'll turn back to the counselor and say, well, we have our opportunity.
Unfortunately, your bold stroke has cut me off from any chance to help you. What am I going to do if I can't communicate with Soul?
You should have about 10 minutes before communications are completely offline. I'll make sure of it.
GM, I'm correct. It's hours to get a response from Soul. It's like 8 hours.
You have time to send your message.
It's essentially like an hour a sector for a message to get there and an hour a sector for it to get back. It takes forever to get messages back from the core.
Yeah, so well, the fun thing with that is the diagnostic will be done by the time the reply gets here.
That's true.
So
Exactly.
you'll be fine. You just need
You
to
have time
send it
to
quickly.
send a message.
Let me calculate this here real quick.
That's why I figured it was
works
worth
out.
Because I swear last time I did this, it was 8 hours.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Figured it was worth spending 2 momentum to be able to break in right then.
Mm-hmm.
About little 9 hours or so to get there, 9 hours back. Give or take.
Yeah, according to the book, a level 1 takes several hours, whereas a level 2 only takes a few hours. But since we have to shut the computer core completely down and then reboot it, it's 8 hours. 9 hours. I think is pretty reasonable.
Everything going well, yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So, I'm communicating. Get your message out in the next 10 minutes, counselor. I'm afraid that's all the time I can buy you.
And Ninerta will furthermore put out a ship-wide notification that the diagnostic will be starting in 1 hour, and that all the equivalent of everyone needs to wrap up their work and save their work before the computer shuts down.
That sets because you're doing that. The ship goes to blue alert, just to alert everyone on the ship that there's system things happening, but it's intentional. It's intentionally shutting stuff off briefly, so people know to be careful. It doesn't force people to be, huh?
I'll give everybody an hour to wrap things up.
Yeah, because people could be in the middle of stuff.
Yeah, you're like
We're on
finalizing
that.
your groundbreaking scientific report about to send it back to Earth. It will change everything, and then you just get, an error code, and it's all gone.
No, the cure for assimilation, it's gone. Gone forever to subspace.
And then Clippy pops up.
No,
No, it's Badgie.
The cure for
Yeah, you're right,
assimilation
100%.
gets warped through subspace. It actually becomes like the Borg discover it, and now they can counter it, and now all your work is useless.
Oh no.
What you doing, Celia?
Well, I grab the pad, I guess, and go to the console.
Okay. What console? I need to know for reasons.
This one?
Spending... Okay, you go to the console?
Yeah.
What do you do with it?
Well, I need...
Do you, like, touch it? Or...
3 or 4 messages and a whole speech and everything.
What is the goal of your speech making and letter writing?
The first goal is to talk to some allies to notify them of the situation with Thralic and have Thralic put at the top of the next day's items for confirmations for command.
You're trying to install Thralic as the captain of the Achilles?
Yes. Because I'm sure this is normally something Starfleet does, but Starfleet is controlled by a civilian organization.
Yeah, it's specifically the first committee, but which is the one you're on, so it's something that's within your power to do. I'm just trying to check something. I think...
Which I guess, unfortunately, the person I'm end running here is Grinnin, so apologies there.
I will.
Sorry, though?
I will note at present you have no mission directives, as the commander of the ship has disregarded what they have so far.
Who has no mission directives?
The Achilles.
Oh, I have one.
You do. Yours is standing. Yours goes away by committee mandate, which is.
I thought our mission directive was to go to the Crimson Dynamo planet and make diplomatic contact with them, or is that no longer applicable?
Just a second ago.
GM, we haven't received any new orders.
Because the communications equipment was down.
That is a ding against you, but as far as on a meta level, those directives don't help anybody.
Okay.
No.
But as far in the narrative, people think those are the existing orders. They just don't realize they're acting on possibly invalid orders.
Okay.
False pretenses.
Yeah. Like if I was playing a much more information control game, I'd be sitting there not telling anyone that the directives change, and then they go, I spent toward a directive. I say, I'm sorry, you can't spend to that directive. Why? I can't tell you. But
Well, that raises an interesting question. Do you spend to the directives that you think you are under orders to do, or the ones you are actually under orders to do?
that is a very good GM question. I would say it would depend on the GM, honestly.
Okay.
Because some directives are standing all the time. Like Prime Directive always stands no matter what. Like even if it's not written out, unless it specifically says ignore Prime Directive, assume Prime Directive always applies. Is my thing. Captains might make standing orders that are always active, that are in addition to existing orders, but the Achilles hasn't really practiced that much. Usually it's the orders from the Admiralty that you've been pulling off of. Yeah, no, black letter rules that it's fuzzy. What the hell was I looking up? Right, that's what I was looking up. Sorry. Because I know certain roles require you to be a certain rank. I don't think commanding officer requires you to be a captain. It's just normally it's a captain, but I don't think it cares.
No, because
I mean, so I guess this is there's two ways to think about it, right? If Thralic is already on the captain's list, like just waiting sometime this year for it to be brought up
Oh, there it
before
goes.
the committee.
This commander, this rank is the lowest rank that a commanding officer may have. So yes, this person can be on the commanding a ship. Like, to be put in for promotion requires Thralic to spend, or you to spend, theoretically, 3 acclaim to push it through. What you can do is that even though she is not yet a captain in rank, she can be the commanding officer of the Achilles. Like, you can make it so that she's the one that's selected instead of whoever else they're looking to select.
All right.
So you want to do that. So you want to put Thralic on that list to be up front. Is there anything else you're trying to do? Just seeing if you're... I'm just upping the difficulty the more stuff you're doing. Right now you're at base 2. Because I think Thralic's rep's like, what, 5? 4?
Then I think I'm crossing the Rubicon here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do everything else too. That being a second to the docket that starships, specifically starships in the Shackleton, can only have one counselor advisor at a time.
Okay. Anything else? You're at 3 currently.
I need a docket item to be transferred to the what committee was that?
Depends on
the agricultural committee.
regarding what topic?
Well, we talked about it like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think because you told me.
Because there's the first committee, which is the security committee. The third committee is about rights and sapiency. There's like 5 committees. I forget which one.
This is the one governing colonization.
Oh, yeah, hold on. But that's the committee you want to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah. First, get transferred to that committee. And lastly, actually not lastly, second to last, get them to appoint me to the Achilles. So, and I guess the last thing is
4th committee. That's who I'm thinking of. They're the political and colonial committee. It's like internal forces, internal settlement, and external settlement.
And the last thing is the speech to the first committee. The only problem is I had hoped to have solid evidence that they'd done anything wrong, but all we have at this point is conjecture.
Are you going to
just have...
Oh, go ahead.
I think I just have to go off of who they are and their ideas corrupting Starfleet. I can't really accuse them of anything because we didn't have time to figure out. We didn't have time to find any evidence.
Presence command, difficulty 5. Assisted by ship's comms command. Complication range of 5. A lot of the complications is the fact that you're doing this as quickly as possible. Like, there's a presumption that Celia's probably done some pre-writing, giving her high command skill, but she now has to suddenly figure this all out very quickly and fire it off before she runs out of time and the computer core locks down. Which you can still do comm stuff, actually, because it's not the communication system that's being shut off. Unless you guys are your diagnostic wanting the comm system as well.
Yeah, quicker than the computer system.
Yeah.
The comm system was in 10 minutes, the computer's in an hour.
Yeah. So, that's your numbers. Div 5, Comp 5.
Determination on channel your emotions and they'll push you through hardship as I give several passionate pleas. And a focus in politics.
Yep.
I don't think this will hurt me because I'm not talking to them, but I do have a trait of enemy of Shackleton Starfleet Command, which is probably only going to get worse because of this.
Comp 6.
But they're not because they're not involved in this process, right?
They can oppose the committee's suggestion.
I have a question, GM.
Actually, you know what? I'll up it to comp 6. I'll just save myself 2 threat.
Okay.
Just because I don't really want it to go higher than that, honestly. Go ahead. Sorry.
Can I assist here because of my talent methodical planning?
Walk me through it. I think I know where you're going, but but walk me through it.
So Saleya is sending this all off now because I've put into motion this blind, basically the ship systems going offline, getting all this stuff out. We're working on a admittedly kind of hastily put together plan, but a plan nonetheless. And if an ally is attempting a task that benefits from my plan or strategy, I can assist them, even though I'm not there.
Do you spend anything for that? I don't think you do.
Nope.
It's just a thing you can do because of the plan, and I didn't make you roll for it because it's not. It's a diff 0 thing to do what you just did. It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
What's it called again? Sorry.
Methodical planning. It's on my sheet if you want to look.
Oh yeah, I can look on your sheet. What am I doing? Bad habits. No.
I picked it up with the last arc.
When an ally takes a advantage or other trait you have created. Yep. I'll take it.
Right. Cool.
You have an assist coming your way, even though Thorlick's nowhere near you.
Yep. And that'll give you an extra reroll from my advisor talent.
All right.
So what resources are you spending?
2 momentum, 3 threat.
2 momentum, 3 threat. Boop. Plus the ship's communications command.
Yep.
Amazing.
So that gives us 2 momentum, which I'll use to quash the complication.
You have one complication left because there was 2 on the board.
No, I re-rolled.
Rerolled the comp into a comp.
Yeah, I re-rolled my comp into a comp.
Oh, sorry.
That was until Thralic rolled an assist to create another comp right after you said
Well,
that.
I'm gonna re-roll my assist die with my coordinated efforts.
Yep.
It would be a great trade if whenever you rolled an assist, it was a guaranteed complication.
5, 6, 6, 7, 8, I believe is the number. You spent 2 of it, so you have 1 over, so 1 momentum generated after all that. I will say you're fairly certain this should work, but you won't know if it worked or not until like 8. We'll know 18 hours from present, because you have to wait for them to get it and send back and confirm.
While Saleya is doing that, I would like to head to the bridge.
That's a good time to scene change.
Yeah. The coup attempt is well underway. First, we seize the national media and we shut it down. Then we go for the institutions of power. I know this works.
Mm-hmm.
Does the counselor follow Thralic, or are you staying down in deck 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was doing this like as she was starting doing that.
Okay, cool.
I only had 10 minutes. I'm gonna be right behind you anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so-
but I need to do something before that 10 minutes closes as well.
okay, so well, you can stagger each other then, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over to Rylov and say, Commander, a word.
Commander.
And I'll step over, say, wave him over and say, I need incoming communications from the last 15 minutes to disappear.
The very slight eyebrow raise of, might I know the reasons why, Commander? That is a particularly imperial request.
Yikes.
I'll be hosting a full meeting on the topic shortly. Don't like it, but the picking our words carefully here. There's a political faction in the core that wants to sideline the Achilles away from completing our mission due to the captain's current medical condition.
I'm imagining Subtle and Inscrutable are really helping Rylov right now, like...
Yeah.
Excuse me, Commander Rylov?
Yes, Lieutenant Pack.
Just wanted to confirm that the new schedule for tomorrow for the security rotations. I just got them sorted, so wanted your input, Commander. Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I just want to do this before the computer shuts off.
Oh, hand me the pad. I'll get that done. I'll look it over quickly.
Insight, security, difficulty 2. Or reason, because you're sitting. You have time to kind of read it over.
I mean, either or.
Yeah. Either or.
Amazingly, I do not have any focuses for paperwork or management. What diff did you say again? Sorry.
2.
2. Give you a threat.
Certainly.
Amazing. Let me reroll that. There we go.
You generated a momentum, actually. Yeah, it looks all straightforward, and you do it in such a way that you're not delayed much. You very quickly are able to read it, and even though it looks like you skim it, you actually do fully understand what it is, and it's just a standard security rotation. He's not doing anything weird. He's just changing shifts to account for some of the people who are under suspicion currently. So it's like, let's do different people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That is approved. Thank you, Lieutenant Pack. Carry on.
Sir. Commander.
Lieutenant.
Goes back. Kind of hands the pad off to Kasai, and they talk for a little bit, and then Pack heads off back to tactical. And Kasai immediately starts entering that in.
To put it quite briefly, Commander, are you asking me to trust you?
Commander.
Very well.
Set to kill.
Thank you.
That's just on the value of, will do anything for the few I trust. Funnily enough, he didn't trust the captain, but he trusted the XO.
Yeah.
That's been a thing.
Yeah, no, that's... We've talked about that.
We've talked about that.
Then
There's
I'm
like
just
4
going to-
people.
Yeah. I'm just going to nod to Rylov and say, "That's all, Commander," and move over to the command chair.
Okay, Rylov. Time's ticking.
Yeah, where is that? Internal? Is that internal systems, or where is that?
It would be internal systems or sensor ops, but you can use one of the auxiliary panels at the back.
Okay, fair enough. I'm right here. I'll just turn around.
So daring plus security. Difficulty would be 4, but you're the chief of security, so it goes down by 1. Assisted by computers plus security.
Subtle trait.
I'll say that it doesn't bring the difficulty down, but you're definitely not drawing any attention from anyone else on the bridge. You're not doing anything. You're being subtle about how you're doing it. So there's no preamble need.
Job.
Yeah, he's just doing a regular thing. Nothing unusual. Nothing to see here. Move along.
That said, the value of "I'll do anything for the few I trust" seems particularly relevant to use right now, even if not strictly necessary.
Yep.
And I'll give you a threat and a momentum.
Ba 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 ba.
Does
Ba, 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 ba. Yep.
Question, GM, can I assist with the same thing here now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Either tactical systems, because communications is under tactical, or guerrilla tactics. Cleaner removal of information.
I'll say no to both because you're doing this in a very bureaucratic sense.
Yeah, this isn't really
Fair
guerrilla tactics.
You're not breaking into the communication core.
Yeah.
If I remove all the chips.
Oh yes. I should also mention I do have paranoid as a trait for whatever that may or may not do.
That doesn't hurt or help you.
Okay. I just had to. I was like, that might be in this case, so we'll find out.
If there was like an opposed roll between you and Thralic over that, I would have fired paranoid just then, but you chose to go with it, so.
Yeah.
With the mutiny.
Yeah, well, that still hits it at the moment because of determination.
Yeah.
But I've got
You also have a reroll from Advisor as well.
Well, I might need to use that for the
Yeah,
advisor.
go ahead.
Given my own security reroll was just like, you know what? Have fun. Oh my god.
Plus
That's
these.
a lot of really
Yeah.
high rolls on me. I do keep it though.
The assist plus the ship.
Alright, here's my assist. And
So 1 generated so far.
Keeping is probably the funniest thing about that.
yeah.
1.
Plus an additional float, which I don't want for doing anything.
I mean, we might.
I will note, I'll highlight to you, Thralic, that the orders that you had earlier, I still have them, but you can't see them because, well, they're not in the computer anymore, so.
Yeah. Orders? What orders? I've received no orders.
Actually, that could be the one float for the question of whomst has access. Like, is there any unexpected access for I'm guessing what's flagged as a priority 1 communication?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there any unexpected access
Nope.
to that with the float?
The only person who's touched it before you is Thralic.
Okay. This seems like something worth checking,
Yeah.
given what I was just told.
Mm-hmm. And then Saleya walks onto the bridge, but as she's walking onto the bridge, we cut down to Ven. Because Ven is about to find out there's a blue alert and the computer's about to shut off. So.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Boop. Ven.
Save your work.
Ensign Ven.
I was muted. Yes.
The project is due tomorrow, but if you turn in at 11:58 p.m., you're in the clear. Assuming there's no lag.
Oh god, that's why I hand delivered stuff. But anyway. Ow, I just pulled my own ears. I'm okay. But yes, Ven, you get the blue alert that the computer core is about to shut down for a level 1 diagnostic by order of the chief engineer.
How much time do I have to back up my work?
10 minutes. Oh wait, no, you said an
minutes.
hour. Sorry.
No, computer core was an hour. Communications for 10 minutes.
We can't be finished in an hour, can we?
You can get a single roll done, and you won't be able to spend to speed it up.
Yeah, but we don't have to worry about Yeah, but we don't have to worry about like outright losing our work. It's just
not unless something happens to the computer core.
I reckon we can do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of, since you're in such a hurry, 2, 3, 4.
I don't like you.
5.
Yeah.
I'm well above my starting amount. I'm spending it, darn it.
I know.
This is supposed to be a threat 1 game. What the hell?
Talura, do you have any values that would proc in this? If not, I do. Just
Potentially. Well, I mean, some of them are definitely not. I'm guessing you have a lot of rules about translation that I'm supposed to be following.
Well, it's more so.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure me invoking this value is a ding for you.
I think I accidentally did that.
I have a value I can use, but it's bad for you if I use it.
Got it.
I'm pretty sure I might have a second one as well.
Can I get the stats for the task again?
Scroll up.
Diff 5 reason science.
Oh, okay. Reason science. That's what I was missing.
Yes.
Reason science. Garbage. Oh, testing a theory into practice.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like, here, see what I've been doing? Do this. I'll help you this time. It's a learning experience. Because you need to be competent at something.
So it is now diff 4. I have 3 dice.
I don't know. That looks like diff 5 to me too.
Okay.
Just up the difficulty again.
Yeah, he's in a rush.
Yeah. Well, he had to do it in order to keep it at diff.
Yeah, that's funny though.
Okay. Determination spend on always ask questions.
Yeah.
Cool. In which case, take 3 threat.
Oh no, I recommend you absolutely hammer this to the full.
No,
because,
that is the
full?
most. That's the most I can give him because I get a free
right,
third.
Yeah. Okay. Got
There's
it.
2 dice that are
Understood.
predetermined.
Carry on. Yes,
Yeah.
carry on. That's me not understanding your abilities correctly.
Reverse engineering again.
Yeah.
Research. Okay.
Research would work too. Yeah.
Cool.
This is linguistics, yes. So I believe that one is more accurate.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I've got my everything. Okay. So I already have 2 hits.
Like a noob. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Is the ship helping or no?
No.
Oh, really?
No, it didn't before either.
Isn't the whole point that the computer systems is about to go offline, and that's why we have to hurry?
Yeah, but narratively, the computer system's why this is possible. Like, you're doing this.
I think we're using the resources. It's just impossible without the resources to do it.
Oh, okay.
1,
No,
2,
that's
3, 4,
fair.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 off 5 gives you 4.
Cool. And you know what? Because we really need to hammer this thing home.
And actually, I'll even go 1. Well, I don't know if you want to bother with it. For 2 momentum, you could get the ship to roll as well, but I don't think you want to do that. I don't think that's a good deal for you.
No, that's not worth the...
No.
Or 2 threat, you know.
Because that's 2 to potentially get 1 or 2 back or nothing back. So
there's no point.
Yeah.
Okay.
6? Oh, you have a worse science? What kind of scientist are you?
Cadet.
I'm a young officer science.
This person is still in the midst of the finished their 4th year months early.
This is why you're endearing. It's like a lost puppy.
Romance subplot activated. 3 hits.
No.
Yeah, that's what Bailey said.
Endearing does not mean enticing.
Hey, I've read enough fanfic.
Like
I know what that
Ben,
means.
Like looking over and being like, oh no, as far as the diagnostic, the decontamination bays are offline. Looks like there's only one way to ensure we're both clean.
No.
Decontamination gel.
Do you have? You've got metals to generate extra momentum, do you not?
Yeah. I just. Where are we at on the work?
4 on 12 puts you to 17.
So,
Out of
4 on 12.
So do we need
16.
How much more do we need?
4.
4? I think I can.
I mean, we have 4 momentum now, so we could just do that. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, give me a second. I have metals. So
Yeah. Yes.
let me burn like at least 1 metal.
Certainly.
That's unpatriotic, you know. Respect the soldiers.
Okay, yeah. I will use my cluster on my Starfleet Medal of Honor
For 2 extra float.
for 2 bonus, and then I'll spend 2 regular momentum.
So you're adding 4. So 8 total. 8 on to 12 is 20 on the dot. Which gets you to 2 magnitude. So you are able to translate the language and understand that it is a specific pilot's language for the L, which the translation kind of had a trick with it because you were dealing with what amounted to a very specific dialect related to the coalition, and then yet another jargonistic, technical dialect of the pilots of L, which have a very particular way of saying things. And as the computer core and various screens around you flicker off, the display you see, just as it shuts off, says, "Enter name and password." And then it goes away.
Oh, great. Yeah, so it's exactly what we thought it was.
Yes, but now that we understand it, we know how to jury-rig past it.
Yeah, so here's my question for you, GM.
Yeah.
Now that we've done this translation thing, is this something that we can continue to work on without the benefit of the computer system?
You could use a pad, but you're increased in difficulty and complication because you're not benefiting from the lab anymore.
That's okay, because I still have testing a theory into practice.
For translating languages, yes.
Or just because I've worked on this thing before. Because the only requirement of testing a theory into practice is I have to be doing the same sort of thing I was doing earlier. And working on this thing has been...
I would counter argue you were working on linguistics and translation, not cracking codes.
But earlier I was doing the thing where I was trying to figure out how the thing works, and...
Oh, that's true. Yep.
So it was much earlier in the adventure, I give you, but I did do it at a point earlier.
Yeah, there's 2 things you've been working on. Yeah. Yep.
So...
And a pad doesn't cost opportunity because they never do. If you're near a ship, you can grab a pad. They're all over the place.
Yep.
Carrying on? Lovely.
Yeah, because now that we've got the translation thing done, it'll be a little more touch and go. But he pulls out a pad, pulls out his tricorder. I think I can do this without the ship's computer. It's gonna be a little bit more manual, but. It's gonna be a matter of, I think, as I was saying before, tricking the computer's logic circuits into thinking we've inputted the correct password.
Reason security difficulty 4 because you're bypassing the security lock.
I can do that.
I was gonna say,
do that.
I was gonna say, I actually might not be the best person to do this because testing a theory into practice only helps for science and engineering roles.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've done the reading for a momentum, so suddenly this is a science role.
For her,
For her. But which I get a focus in. So,
Can I leverage reverse engineering focus again? Because I'm trying to crack this thing's logic.
I
circuits.
would take it as a comp increase on the assist.
Okay. I'll take it.
It doesn't affect the main roller because they're not the one using it. So.
Okay.
Diff 4.
Yeah, and also comp increase of 1 because
And I don't.
Oh, that's
have
true,
mission
yeah.
directions anymore.
Nope.
So we're all rolling at least 1 up comp. Oh boy, I'm at comp range 3.
As far as we were concerned, was this thing pertinent to anyone's survival in terms of figuring it out? I think it was pertinent to Jaishu's survival. Potentially or no? I might be I missed an episode, so I'm not entirely sure.
You do know that they grabbed her, yes. So it is related. It could potentially be related, yes.
Could potentially. I mean, if it says, hey, we're supposed to meet here, that would be great, because that's presumably where they've gone to take her. That would be lovely. That would be delightful, even. That just gives me a potential on a value, is what I mean.
Delightful, she said.
Yes. It's certain language that you use. You wouldn't understand it. I'll give you...
Wow.
She wants to teach you her language. Anyway,
I'll give you 2 and 1. Oh, good lord.
Help this dumb Betazoid boy.
He's only half. He's not even like... He can't even be pure on anything.
Yikes.
It's disgusting.
Yikes! I second
My
that.
ship is coming in. My ship's coming in.
Okay, well, I hit 5 without your help, so...
Now
Wow.
you
You
initiate
didn't
docking
help
procedures
anyway.
with you, babe.
So mean today.
Nice.
She's generally been dismissive of Ven.
Well, she's dismissive of most things, really.
She's dismissive of most people.
Yeah, no, you're able to get past the login screen for the pilot.
Okay.
It's just got bored, read security bypass protocols.
Yeah, you have access
For
to the
no
nav computer.
particular reason, don't worry about that.
You have access to the nav computer.
Okay. Let's see if we can't find any tertiary data caches relating to the flight patterns of the other ships.
Oh, we've got a momentum off of that, by the way.
Did you?
Yes.
1, 2, 3,
5.
4, 5. You're right. Yep. Yep. But yes, you have access to the computer. To the nav
And
computer.
You wanted to look for planned flight paths, basically, is what you're saying, Ben, I think, question mark?
Yeah, and see if I can go about it in such a way that I can find any residual remnants of the planned flight paths of the other ships in this thing's formation.
I would charge momentum, but I hand it back to you because that information is not present on the computer.
Cool. Okay.
I would say what the listed destination for this journey was is probably where you want to start.
Yeah, where was this thing supposed to go?
That will cost you. This thing was heading to. Is that correct?
I hope so.
I was gonna say,
Spend the
what do you
momentum on
mean is that correct? You're the game master.
Well, I have lots of notes. Give me a break.
That's correct. We're spending good momentum on it.
I think that's right. I have to look at my notes. I have too many planets in my notes. Where are you?
Also, as a thought, is the biological hazard on this thing just the fact it's the L who are spore creatures that...
You'd have to ask the CMO.
That's just like, she's probably just like saying that in general, like, is it just a residual of the fact that it was in a environment that was toxic to us? Probably.
For the love of God, please don't give yourself space COVID because you started space touching things you weren't supposed to.
We're in a hazmat suits.
Okay.
So
I'm just gonna
stay
put the
in
glove
them.
under your pillow.
Just for one. I would like to go one session without a crewmate unnecessarily grievously injuring themselves.
Oh, they were heading back to the... Yeah, that's the right system. That's why I have it here in the first place.
This
Cat-
crew not grievously injuring themselves. Challenge level impossible.
The Kajish Giku system. Which, the translator, that's a proper noun. There's nothing to translate. Like, if you specifically translate it, it's like... brown yellow or something like that, or dry yellow. It doesn't really mean anything separate, so it's a proper name for something.
Oh, like how the guy is called light green.
Yeah. Like you get the feeling that if you try to say whatever that is out loud, you get the feeling you're saying it wrong somehow. Like there's some other. You notice like there's little like accents over the letters that indicate certain scents and noises you're supposed to make to accent that particular letter, but. In writing, that's what it looks like.
Like half of them half of them have like alien umlauts over them.
Smell, scent, yellow.
They're very colorful.
Alien lots.
Activate second polyp. Like, what? What does that even mean? I don't have a second polyp. But yeah, no, that's where it says its dock destination was. Like, upon mission completion, they were to head to that system.
Okay, and we don't know where that is though.
No,
I'm sure it's in this nav computer. Because this is their nav computer.
You can give me insight. I don't know. Reason, con, difficulty of 4. It would be 3, but you're kind of you're doing it through the lens of someone else's system. But it's possible. It's totally possible.
Insight con, you say?
Reason con, difficulty 4.
Reason con, even better. Research focus?
Arguable, yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. Take 3 threat.
Certainly. Oh, and I forgot you're doing this through a pet. So that's actually get 5 comp.
I might not attempt this then.
Coward.
I will simply gather this information and say we should bring this up to the bridge. I'm sure navigation will be able to make something with this.
As in the navigator that's being stabbed or someone else?
And with that little jab of joke, I will cut away to a new scene.
More than one? What are you talking about?
Boop. I'm using the set because the set is good for what I need. Boop. Okay. We don't need this room anymore. I need to be on the map layer to get rid of that. Map layer, go away. Thank you. And I believe I'm cutting to the engineer who was heading to the computer core, or are you heading to engineering?
Well, since I'm looking at the computer core, I figured I'd go there.
Yep. So you are in the primary computer core access room. There's 2, and these 2 lead off to like areas that get you up into the massive chamber where the huge pillar is. These are like the secondary consoles that link you to it without having to physically be in the room.
All right.
And I imagine there'd be people in here because there's always people. Unless you tell them to clear out, there'd be people floating around doing their job. Mostly science. Be a combination of science officers and engineers because they're getting ready for the diagnostic.
All right.
And the security guys hovering around, if I remember last episode.
That you're at green alert, they would be told to stand down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to do a diagnostic to determine how the computer core was sabotaged and in what ways, and to detect any further intrusions or malware or what have you, and then to reboot and clean it out.
Oh, so you're going to be here working on the just straight up working on the diagnostic and waiting to see what it pops back.
Yeah, a level 1 it requires
You're probably over here.
Input.
the system being examined is entirely shut down and subjected to extensive automated analysis with all work performed on site where the equipment is in use.
Reason engineering. The difficulty would be much higher, but because it's a level 1 diagnostic, you're gonna get a huge discount on how hard it is. It was gonna be 5. I'm gonna knock it down to a total between it being really long and the fact that you're having. I imagine you're getting your engineers to help you with this.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna knock it down to diff 2, and because you're doing a diagnostic that uses the computer systems. Funny enough, the computer you're diagnosing helps you diagnose itself.
Fascinating. All right. So,
arguably, if you were crawling around in the core, like physically eyeballing things and checking the physical parts of it yourself, I would let you use fitness instead if you like that better. But reason is what most people do because you can do it from this room.
it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, fitness or reason. So,
Okay.
reason will work.
So I throw it out there.
All right. Thank you. So, diff 2.
See, he thanks me. No one else thanks me around here.
Take a threat for the third die in bold.
Take the how much that? Sorry.
1 for
Just
3
1?
dice.
Roger.
Yeah. It's diff 2. So, and would you take demolition and sabotage as a focus?
Yes, because of the second part, not the first part.
I figured. All right, let's see what we can do. Reroll the whiff. Aha!
The preliminary results you can tell even at the early stages is that whatever sabotage was in effect likely is no longer in effect, but this diagnostic will clear any attempt by me to use threat to cause weird blips. But there is extra information you're going to learn at the end of the diagnostic that would... but preliminarily, you know that there was no ongoing sabotage. What are they called? The hoplites did the correct thing, and they managed to clear the system. It's just that you were running into weird blips because when you do retake a computer core that's been sabotaged, you have to kind of do a level 2, level 1 diagnostic to make sure you clear out all the little bugs that left behind. It's sort of like some jerk hard restarted your computer, except the computer core is 3 stories high and works at terabytes a second. So the mistakes are huge. When a little mistake can be a lot of mistakes. So, but you're going to learn extra information for free.
I've got enough to create an advantage here, but we need to get the ship's roll, computer plus engineering.
Computer engineering for the ship. Plus 1 more.
So we got 3. So, spend 2 for an advantage that as the diagnostic is happening and these, it's throwing up, well, this happened, that we're kind of closing those doors, sealing those loopholes, generally strengthening security against future similar attacks.
That will benefit you for the duration of the adventure. I'll put it that way. So this arc will last until your new mission is assigned.
Okay.
So this session plus however many other sessions after,
Right.
if we're still on this adventure. Any questions you have from the preliminary side? You're gonna get how many? What's your computer thing? Hold on, I'm trying to think how many questions to give you for free. Wait, no, other way around. You're gonna get 2 free questions once it's done. Like whatever the momentum or threat is, you're gonna get 2 free questions just out of sheer. That's what the diagnostic told me.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and I'll stay here and continue working and overseeing the process.
And then we cut back to the bridge, I suppose. New scene, so that's gonna go poof anyway. Boop, boop, boop. So Celia gets up to the bridge. Is there anything in particular Celia's doing before Ven gets back to the bridge?
No, I'll stand near the command chair and wait to see what we do.
Is there anything Aza's doing during the diagnostic? Because basically the computer and the comm systems are down for like several hours, so.
Probably nothing super interesting considering there's not much I can do in terms of like on-screen stuff. I assume I'm mostly just keeping the patient stable and healthy and making sure medbay is staying afloat through this difficult time. I'm not even sure if Isa is even aware of the current like palace intrigue about who's the next captain is going to be up there, unless someone has informed her. I don't think she is.
No, I think very intentionally people have not informed anyone.
The one question I have for Aza is, what are you doing with McClellan? Because because once his phaser burn's very easy to treat with or without the computer, so he can be on his feet and doing stuff again.
Well, okay. If there's no indication, if it truly does appear, you've scanned multiple times and that the chronoton thing was an error, if we have multiple reports saying that there are no chronotons and one that says there is, we have to assume that the it was a false positive. In which case, when he's cleared for duty, he's cleared for duty. I can't I wouldn't and I can't hold him against his will because time travelers are somehow more suspicious. So he can go to the bridge or wherever.
He would ask if you need his help for anything before he leaves, now that he's clear for duty. Because he has a fuzzy position on the ship right now, so he's kind of just trying to be useful wherever he is.
No, thank you, sweetheart. I think everything in medbay is going fine. But if you ever need someone to talk to, or you or if you learn any juicy bit of gossip, feel free to swing by.
Once we talk to this coalition, I might want to check in with you just to make sure I'm not shaken up or anything by it. I doubt I will be. They seem really nice, but I'll pencil me in. Sorry, that probably didn't translate. Provisionally put me in for a meeting.
We didn't always have electronics up in the hills of Bejor. Anything that emits a signal is something a Cardi could maybe track. So yes, I know how to use a pencil. I understood your metaphor.
Oh, good.
And I will. And she like snaps her fingers, pencil you in.
Thank you, counselor. And off to the bridge he goes. Ven arrives on the bridge roughly around the same time with the Romulan, I believe, because I can't imagine unless she went off to do something else.
Yeah, I suppose she'd be here.
And don't worry about the hazmat thing. Once you go through decom, that's trivial. Because you guys, at no point was your suit compromised. It's just a matter of stand here for like a minute or two, get scanned, now take the suits off. There she is.
Okay.
Yeah, yell at the saxophone group down the hall that should be doing their practice at this hour.
Yep.
Commander?
Commander.
I was going to say, Ryle probably turns his head to look at McClellan and is just like, good work.
What did I do?
Lieutenant Commander Ninosa.
Oh, that's just part of the job, isn't it?
Not specifically yours, but
I mean, okay, that's true. I'll take the compliments where I can get them. So, how's Captain Pend? I heard we got him back. He kind of moves over and
Presently,
leans on
yes.
the railing, just kind of casual since you're at green alert.
Perhaps we will discuss these things when the next staff meeting comes around.
Oh, that's serious. Okay, forgot I asked. Sorry.
Commander.
Yes, Ensign.
After a thorough analysis of the recovered flight computer, I think I've got something.
Flight computer.
But it's going to take someone with a better mind for astrometrics and astronavigation than me. And he looks between Citrera and now McClellan, who's back.
I'm sorry, I've been in sick bay the last while. What are you talking about, Ensign?
We recovered
he
a computer
looks good.
device from the ship that went down with Captain Penn. It might be
Oh.
the location of Commander Jaishu.
Oh, okay. Sorry to
We
interrupt,
found out
Commander.
we found out where the ship carrying Captain Pend was headed. And as far as I can tell, it's our best lead. At least our most concrete one.
tragically, it wasn't actually a black box. It was the navigational computer, which is still useful, but more narrow in its scope.
So
So we do now have a more comprehensive translation base for the L language.
At least one particular dialect.
we don't know what made it go down in the first place. That's unfortunate.
Yes.
Did we hear what made it go down in the first place?
I think
Assuming the captain.
I'm trying to recall. Penn said what he did in narrative.
Mm.
Oh,
Hell
ripping
no.
out their navigational computer can't have helped.
No.
Just
And Ven just notes, yeah, but you know, there's kind of an order of operations that we're not quite aware of.
Yeah.
And GM McClellan was is McClellan suited to finishing off that role then?
You look up his file, which you would get to know. Which do you get to see it? Oh. No, but don't worry about it. Actually, I'll make it any, because he's not exactly hiding stuff from anybody. Oh. He's at the top area underneath the Odyssey A, but I don't think he does linguistics, galactic politics, learn from failure, rapid hypothesis. No, not really. I don't think this is his. This isn't his bailiwick.
I'm gonna say, Ensign Ven, please turn over the relevant data to Ensign Citrera.
Of course. And he hands over the pad. We managed to work this part of it out outside of the confines of the computer system during the shutdown. But you might want to wait until the computers are back online before trying to run any more complex astronavigation than what we were able to determine.
Yeah, Citrera, takes it with a big paw and says, yes, of course. I would hate to bust out the drafting table at this stage.
But you know how to do that.
Oh, well, I don't. But, it is a mandatory 2-week class in the academy. I wouldn't, put money on it, but...
Primitive technology course indeed. McCullen looks mildly irritated.
Well, sir, it is important to know how our ancestors lived. They may not have had as fancy gizmos as we have nowadays, but they had to make up for it with, gumption.
Thank you, Ensign. I appreciate the compliment.
Training.
Oh, you're the and Satrira turned to the station like nothing.
It's like we consider that fail-safe training.
See, that I'm not as offended by.
And another question, GM.
Yeah.
Given the level 1 diagnostic being run, how much does Minerva need to be present for that? And would this be a good time for senior staff meeting?
Ideally he'd be there the whole way, but he can step out for a brief meeting and then head back down again. Because it's such a long process, he can just hand it off to one of his engineers. Unless he didn't trust his engineers, then he shouldn't be without them. But if you trust his staff, then he can step away briefly and then go back.
Then I'm going to put out the call for a senior staff meeting.
Senior staff meeting it is. New scene. Not that it matters for the momentum pool.
Satrira should be back on her feet, right? We did cure her, right?
Satrira?
No, she's just Trier. I'm sorry, they're both helmsmen.
No.
They have similar
No.
names.
She still has the disease.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So
She needs like
that
long-term
is-
treatment in a
I'm sorry.
Narendra or something.
Oops.
We essentially need access to the poison that was used.
Whoopsie. Nanerda, I presume you come up to the senior staff meeting? Or do you stay down and just have a representative go up in your stead?
We just holographic him in.
Well, when you have a staff meeting like this, usually you want to be there in person if you're going to bother.
Yeah, Nerda walks in with a tricorder linked into what's going on, as well as a pad,
Yeah.
in two of his hands, and
Am I missing a department? Oh, extra command, but that is not required yet, so don't worry about it.
Con, technically.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
con officer should be here. Yep.
Which I think the next highest one is Satrira, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
They're all ensigns, aside from Satrira. So.
And Satrira is the senior ensign because the other one only just got recently confirmed.
Yeah.
The other one is pilot stuff. Or small craft as well. This is main ship. At the moment.
Your senior staff meeting, Commander.
Hello, everyone. It's been a frantic few days, and especially a frantic last few hours. This senior staff meeting is to go over the current status of the Achilles, as well as the status of Captain Pent. Commander Aza, if you could please disclose what is medically relevant about the captain's condition.
The primary thing to note is that the captain is indisposed and will remain indisposed for the next several weeks. I am not yet at liberty to make judgments as to when he will be ready to return to command. However, at this point myself, I've already recommended to Commander Thralic that she take emergency command as he takes a leave of absence. It could be weeks, it could be months. I don't know yet. However, as things stand now, she is the captain.
Is there anything I should be aware of in regard to a security standpoint?
We'll be getting to that.
I was meaning in terms of the sickness.
Oh, that I'm not sure of.
Yes, he has been, and she will forward you the information. I haven't had time to do this because I've been stuck with stuff, but...
What do you forward him? Do you forward him the whole file or just the...
Sure, I will forward him the whole file,
Okay.
because, who cares about HIPAA? But specifically, I will highlight, I will highlight, The quote that these findings suggest the presence of a neurotoxic effect or exposure to an unknown pathogen that has affected the neuromuscular system. She will say it is possible that he has been affected by a neurotoxin. We've not yet been able to run complete tests because, well, medical has been swamped and now all the computers are off. However, if we determine that he is being affected by a toxin, it would be important to know if he has been affected by a poison.
He looks down, he's got a file, he's like, all I really needed to know was that it was a neurotoxin and potentially something of a other than natural origin. Other than natural, implying that another entity or organization could apply it to him. Or subsequently anyone else aboard this ship.
Right.
Not to stand on ceremony, but Commander Thorlock, have you formally taken the the captain's codes?
And informed Starfleet Command.
We'll be getting to that shortly.
McClellan nods.
First off, Commander Rylov, what is the current security situation with our saboteurs?
We have 2 under... Is it appropriate to call it allegations if they've been caught red-handed?
Till a court-martial's happened, is my
Still-
understanding.
Well,
Technically,
yeah,
it
Until
counts as an
proven guilty.
allegation. Yeah.
you could charge them, right? They're either charged or they're being held for
Yeah,
questioning.
there are 2 charged with, or 1 charged with assault on a senior officer. Attempted assault on a senior officer, attempted murder of a senior officer, with a small gesture to Nanerta, small gesture to McCullen as he's talking, just to indicate who. Willful sabotage of Federation property, willful sabotage of Starfleet assets, except he's just going to list a few things between the 2 of them, and then there is a third that is under suspicion of what is it?
Medical assault?
Contribution of a... No, she's potentially the assassin.
Yes.
Or the initial attacker of Shishir. We do not know to what extent. All we know is that she currently has Shishir's blood on her. So that warrants further investigation, which we have got a potential murder weapon in... Oh no, we still need to recover that. We have been distracted, given everything else, including looking for the 4th suspect, which is no longer on the ship.
So what I want to know is what's behind all of this. I mean, I looked at Chief... what was his name?
It
Chief
was the
somebody.
Andorian fellow.
He's been taken off the list.
No, he should still be there.
Ness? No, it's not Ness. It's not
Yeah.
Ness. It's
Chief,
the sure redneck.
That's Ashira Hack. It's record and was spotless.
Chief Hack.
Chief Hack. They were a very competent, well-regarded officer.
Perhaps
So-
a place to begin. Did you
Yes, agreed.
examine his any connections he might have with the others?
The one directly next to him was a fellow engineer directly under his command.
They both clammed up as soon as they got caught, and it's not like we could beat it out of them.
Well, I suggest Commander Rylov, you should compare their backgrounds and see if they have anything in common.
I will get around to that, though there are numerous other aspects of this case that seems to be occurring that I need to look into.
So at this point, we have no idea who made a highly organized, very carefully planned, and very effective attack on the ship from within. I mean,
We have no official idea, Commander.
Well, do we have any
Well,
unofficial ones?
I look at Commander Thralik and I say, we have no official theory.
Well, do we have unofficial theories?
The
We can
last
trust each
infiltration
other here.
attempt
We should
that-
not be keeping secrets here. We keep secrets here, we will never figure out anything. Either we trust each other or we trust no one.
You're here.
Agreed. Counselor.
Right.
I'm looking across the table to Soleil.
Yeah, I look back and say, it's not a matter of secrecy. It's a matter of constitutional rights. Let's not violate them.
Yeah, Asa gives you a look and says, "What rights?"
I was gonna like look at Aza like that is a sentence I would expect to hear from a Tel Shiar officer.
Oh,
No.
gaining
I'm
momentum.
curious.
Whoops.
No, I am not inquiring that we violate the law of the Federation. I am inquiring what laws would we be breaking by sharing with each other our information about the active saboteur on board our ship.
You think someone of a protected group is behind this?
I nod to McClellan and say, yes. And that's why Rylov should not be allowed to know what that group is. If he finds it on his own, there's no violation. If he goes looking for it intentionally, there'll be a violation.
As in, if I was looking for someone who is a dissenter, I am going to presumably be able to find something, because if you're looking for something specific, it can be quite easy.
Yeah, as a hypothetical, right? If you were looking for someone who belonged to a group of generous Andorians who belonged to the same fundraising group with no reason, then yes, you might violate their rights. But if you found 4 of them had committed a crime and they did belong to the same organization, then you would be free to pursue.
It is the order in which it is pursued.
Yes.
The poison tree philosophy.
Yes.
Well, that
Me
complicates
and Commander
things.
Thralik must ensure that you are not poisoned. I look back across the table intensely.
I'll nod.
Yeah, Lisa is
Well-
like making a frowny face, but she's not going to say anything.
In fact,
Do you
with this little outburst, I'm afraid it may have already gone too far. But maybe we can staunch the poisoning.
Well, due respect, Counselor and Commander. I've got an entire engineering team who's wondering why 2 of their own endangered the ship and attacked the chief engineer and apparently sabotaged the boat. I mean, what am I supposed to tell these people?
I can give you one theory I'm fairly certain of. I don't think the Coalition did this. It's not that I don't think they're incapable of it, but it doesn't match their cultural base. They have no reason to go to war with us or to sabotage the Achilles. They don't even know how formidable this is.
They barely know we exist.
And
They
private,
have had time to establish agents.
yeah, and at best they have a privateer culture from what I looked up. But that would be open. They would fly the Jolly Roger they would fly pirate signals and attack at will to prove how good they are at privateering. They wouldn't do skullduggery is not really something they're culturally known for. But then again, there could be some secret Tal Shiar-like agency, but I kind of doubt it from the research I've done.
Perhaps we could tell the engineers that the best security officer on the ship is doing everything he can to find out the reason behind this.
Are we doing the best we can? We're telling each other things, and we've made little progress in. And she will look at her clock. How long has it been since the first sabotage? A couple days.
Few hours now.
And
The day's barely
quite
ended.
some time. I am not
Commander
questioning the
Rylov
point.
has already secured several suspects and items of interest. I think he's doing a great job.
I was going to say, Lieutenant Commander, may I make a point?
It's not trying to question your competency, but go ahead.
Am I privy to your records regarding counseling?
No?
That is because it is outside the scope of my duties. If there is an ongoing investigation, it would be relative to security, the chief of security, and my direct commanding officers. That is not a I do not trust you, but that is how the chain of command is functional.
I think there is a very uncomfortable question that's being raised by all this. We're sitting on a ship without a captain.
Correct.
Perhaps it's time for
We are
Commander
quite
Thalek to...
literally rudderless.
Perhaps you should transfer command, Commander.
I think I'm more worried about something else, Counselor. But I may be putting the cart before the horse. But I imagine Starfleet Command needs to be informed. Heck, I have to talk to my
Comms were
captain.
down.
Well, I mean, once the comms are back up, but you know.
I'm
Which
sure
should
Commander
be-
Thalek will do that.
Of course.
in however many hours.
I think it is prudent that we make sure all systems are confirmed to be clear of tampering before any communications are made.
Initial results show that there is no ongoing sabotage. Whatever was done has been done, and some of the glitches we think we've been seeing may simply be a result of the equivalent of a terminal being hard reset and not quite being fully booted yet.
That
I'll
makes
know
sense.
I'll know more once the diagnostic is complete. But that's what I can tell you from preliminary results.
Oh, speaking of Lieutenant Commander Nursa, I have a few of your crewmen that I will pass the names on to you for commendation in regards to their independent thinking.
Excellent. I'll be delighted to pass those up the flagpole. Anything, morale's low in my department, Commander, and anything we can do to boost it, I would be much appreciative.
It's the team that found Sure, but they also put forward some of their own thoughts without
Yeah.
prompt. So it's
Oh,
like,
the crew,
okay.
the crewman, yeah, the
Yeah.
crewman damage control
Yeah.
team.
It was like, oh no, you actually put forward good ideas. You mentioned what you thought would be the next likely system to be hit if it was a sabotage, and you requested security to go with you, and that's what happened. And nothing went wrong. So, while further things continued to happen on the ship, so you know, it's something. It's a win. It's also a win for engineering. It was like crewman Williams or something, wasn't it? Was it Williams? I don't know.
It's probably in the log somewhere. Well, it's nice to hear good news, at least.
Agreed.
But yes, I do have aspects to chase down. It's just a matter of time. And with things settling down and taking a less active events are occurring now, I will be able to chase down what has already occurred to reach a hopeful conclusion. I'll be able to stop reacting.
I do see one issue that might block you very soon. Does the ship have a replacement JAG officer?
Does not.
Not
I'm
a direct
unfamiliar.
JAG off.
Now that they've been charged and you're without a JAG officer, exactly how will they be prosecuted?
At Starbase, I imagine.
At that point, they will just be held under arrest until such a time as we can get to a starbase or recover a JAG officer in a suitable condition.
Do we have anyone on board who can stand as their attorney during questioning, if they should so ask? Is their right?
GM, I'd have to ask. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I do have a focus in Federation law.
Oh, you can roll.
I didn't really establish it, like what kind of schools they went to, so I don't know if it's right. I don't know if they're a lawyer or not, or that was their entry into politics or not.
Give me reason. Command difficulty of 2 to ferret out how the law lands on this. Like, who could stand in their stead?
Technically, I off the top of my head, I would think Ambassador Senva or even Cadet Vizan, but a cadet does sound vaguely insulting.
Federation law?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'll spin a moment.
Boop.
Oh.
You got one back.
Oh, no, I had my complication range still set to 5.
Oh.
That's not a complication.
Good.
Okay.
Well,
So, a person with security and command at least 3 would be competent to stand in defense of somebody. Ideally, someone in command position and not of the security department would qualify as a interim defender.
Why security and not con?
Because you are understanding whether or not they're being held properly by security, or if they're using excessive force, or if they're containing them in a way that's unusual for security standards. The law and order is the law part. The law and order part of it is command security. So you'd want to have both, at least 3. If you're dealing with an alien polity, I know what you're asking about for con. If you're dealing with an alien polity, you'd want to have at least 3 con, but that's not something the JAG office, the JAG line would specifically deal with, because that's more of a first contact, second contact sort of thing, and that's general Starfleet officer protocols rather than uniform law.
Yeah, I was thinking con would deal with their legal rights, not. But I get, yeah.
Yeah.
So, until such time as I receive contradictory orders from Starfleet Command, I'll be in command of this vessel, and we will continue our current mission parameters. Those include the rescue of Commander Jaishu and the continuation of our diplomatic outreach to the Coalition.
Give me presence command difficulty 2, as McClellan looks over at you.
That's what I thought was coming.
I will say I've played a lot of this game. This is the first time I've ever seen someone have to roll to assure loyalty in a non-mirror universe game.
Yeah, it's great.
No, I have to do it all the time. What are you on about?
Guidance has a focus here.
Whoa.
What ground?
I'm being like a kind of a commanding beacon. I'm providing guidance for my crew.
I'll take a complication increase, because you are misguiding them for what you actually know.
That's true.
Using your superpowers for evil, literally.
A little bit.
I suppose just roll for Satrira. Hold on, you might. I'll let you know what they roll before you roll, because they're the quote unquote aggressor. This doesn't count as an activation, huh?
The young naive officer.
Yeah.
Do you have the trait name? Okay, we're funny.
No.
Oh, she has protocols, so that makes it helpful for her. So 3, because the Satrira might see through it. She actually is more perceptive than McClellan is.
Trait decorated military family.
That helps with Satrira. That does not help with McClellan.
Okay. Trait calm in the storm.
Doesn't help or hurt you.
Might hurt me with McClellan. I don't know. Hoplite Commander.
That will help you with Satrira. It will hurt you from McClellan. It actually increases your.
Okay.
I don't know how much he cares about Hazmat. If he really is that. Let me look at his thing. How much is he mad about it? Well, mad. How much would he mind it? Complication increase. I don't think it rises to difficulty. He's not a pacifist per se, but he's a little leery of you. I see a lot of the eugenic security sweeps, but less machine guns and uniforms.
Oh, we haven't got to those yet. Don't worry about it.
I would like to spend a determination towards dare to walk on the thin ice.
No kidding.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So that is just momentum generating or complication checking at this point.
Yep.
Oops, wrong one. There we go. Whoa, good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, goddamn.
Yeah, generate one, then spend 2 to quash.
Oop. Satrira's ears flick a little bit as she seems a little puzzled by what you just said. There's a moment where she almost asks something, but then she thinks better of it. Think, no. Thralek's got this. But Cullen seems somewhat uncomfortable by events, but you get the sense off him that he knows that the Achilles doesn't operate the same way as the Odyssey, so he's trying not to force Odyssey ship behavior on a ship he's not on. He's a liaison officer, not a JAG officer. But you can tell he's a little uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, you get the feeling that he's uncomfortable around you in general, if not the hoplites as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Right. I believe you all have work to get back to. Are there any questions?
None.
No, I would like to talk with you, Lieutenant Commander, and get a statement. McCullen.
Certainly. I would like a word with... I actually did want a word with you anyway, Ryloff, and also with you, Commander Thralek.
Of course. Everyone else dismissed.
Yeah, Nurture will head back out, and as the door opens, he'll kind of pause for a second and just kind of look back at Rylaw, McClellan, and Thralek, and just kind of his eyes will narrow a little bit, and then he'll head on out.
It's like just the inscrutable looking back at Nanerta, which is just his normal face. Hey.
I'll just give a quick.
You people keep this up, and the first time I get 3 acclaim, I'm gonna get paranoid as a trait.
I have that.
I know.
Welcome to the club. Have so much in common.
I'll look to Thralek and McClellan and say personal or ship's business, just so I know if my orders require me to be here.
I'm sorry? Why would you care? Either way.
Counselor Soleil here is an authorized observer from the First Committee. Currently, ship business is her concern.
If it's not ship business, then this is not my place to be. So I would excuse myself.
I suppose for Commander Thralek, I suppose it would amount to ship's business. Ryloff is a separate question I have. I suppose it's ship business in another sense.
Let me rephrase. Is it relevant to the good order and conduct of the ship, or is it a personal matter related to your service on the ship?
I'm not sure I feel comfortable answering that question.
I believe that Commander Thralek is more than capable of informing you should it be something pertinent to your orders, Counselor.
Fine. I can wait here.
All right. Gentlemen,
Looks at McAllen like, it's not the best, but it's something.
Yeah, you can tell because it's all kinds of nervy now. He is very uncomfortable with the room right now.
wait, was that Celeste saying she'll wait here until we're done, or she'll wait here and observe?
And then escapes.
That's me saying I'll wait here until Thralic tells me whether I need to be here or not.
All right.
Like Thralic, y'all can go talk in another room, and if it's not relevant for me, right, then Thralic will just ping me to leave.
All right. Then I'll say, gentlemen, if you'll follow me, and I'll step into the ready room.
Oh, and before
McAllen.
Azza leaves, I would like to speak with Azza sometime later, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say Asa would like to talk to you too. So
Let's resolve this first before McCullen starts getting upset.
I want to say to Azza, I would like to have another session sometime. I think any questions you had now could potentially be resolved.
I mean, questions I had about what? I'm still not exactly sure what on earth is happening.
Oh, then I'm not sure what answers might be enlightening, but I'm sure there will be some.
Okay, well, when you have time, come down. Can I ask you a question, though, Counselor Celeste?
Do I have the option of saying no? Yes, I assume you can. As an elected representative of the Federation, you can always speak to me and ask me questions.
Well, my citizenship in the Federation is kind of up for debate in many circles, but thank you.
I'm pretty sure Bajor has settled that question, haven't they?
Well, I meant
ago.
it was a dig at the new originalists who, oppose that ascension. That's
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yet another set of problems we have to deal with.
She's just going to say, do you have the ship's best interests at heart? I'm not making a question on your character. I'm asking for reassurance.
I serve the people of the Federation, and in that, the people of the Federation have elected representatives to the First Committee, the majority of which has advised me on what my beliefs, what my actions here should be. So I do have as my primary goal ensuring that what the people of the Federation want is done. I think the problem is, and this may be the problem you're sensing, that the people of the Federation often don't always want what you personally might want. So I am doing everything I can to make sure they get what they want, and that what they want is morally right. But sometimes they ask for things that are morally wrong, and it takes time to readjust what they want.
Okay.
That is the most politician answer.
Mm-hmm. I am
But
for
she-
good things and I am against bad things.
Well, she's trying to convey that, right? The people of the Federation elected the neo-originalists, right? They didn't force themselves on the people. They chose them, and her orders come through them. So it's the people of the Federation you're having a problem with right now, and she can't really go against them unless there's good evidence.
Mm-hmm. No. Isa sighs and says, it was a lot easier when it was just a couple dozen of us living in the woods. You know, you didn't actually have to be for anything. You just had to be against the Cardassians. Now, it's not so simple. But I
I'll have
want to make sure that when you are advising Thralic as a new and, well, inexperienced captain at least, that you are giving her the best advice that you can.
Thralic has made it very clear that she is a commander of her own and makes her own decisions.
Understood? Well, I'll be seeing you then, I guess.
She'll nod.
Meanwhile, in the Star Chamber, I mean the ready room.
Just, given McCullen seems very agitated, I'm gonna take the seat that doesn't corner him.
Yeah. He moves a little closer, but he stays standing. He kind of rests one hand on the chair, though, just kind of, unless because he seems very comfortable not to be at attention at all times around you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking to ask, since we're at full stop, I was wondering if I could get permission to use one of the shuttles to check in with my captain, using its communication system separate from the ship, because I need to update them on what's happened to us. And also make sure that they're okay, that they haven't gotten under attack as well. My role as liaison kind of requires me to check in every so often, and now I'm in a comms blackout, which is kind of makes me not very helpful. But I know I can't just seize a shuttle. This ain't my ship, so.
When's your next scheduled update?
In about computer time, and the computer rattles the time at him. Why can't I just answer in? Let me think. That amounts to about an hour.
Right.
So I have an hour before I should report in. So no rush on the shuttle. I know I should check in. And since we're at a stop anyway, and we're at green alert, I figured a quick jaunt wouldn't do anything.
I am concerned about the potential for an intercept on such a communication, given that a shuttlecraft doesn't have the same encryption protocols as the Achilles communication does. However, checking in with your ship is also a priority. If you could keep what you're saying, don't omit, keep the details low. Would that be acceptable, Commander?
What I'll probably do then, if we're concerned about communication security, I might just request a rendezvous, and just report in person with one of their shuttles, or with the Odyssey might be able to spare itself and come over to me anyway. So,
as I understand, that would take 2 or 3 days at this point.
No, it depends how bad the computer system is, right? I mean, I'll say what I can, but at this point, I'm kind of in the middle of. I'm kind of in a weird position where if we're in danger, we lose communications for some reason, or it truly is scuppered. Non-operational. Then it's my duty to maintain a clear line of communication with the Odyssey for the Achilles' sake, and their sake for that matter. They may be sitting in the middle of a war that we don't know we're a part of, or it could be some minor petty matter. Like right now, there's just so little we know.
Right.
It could be possible to essentially prearrange an encryption on a shuttle's communication system before the commander departs with it.
Elaborate.
I believe I'd be capable of encrypting a communications line and leaving it in a hold, for lack of a better word, until the lieutenant commander chooses to attempt communication.
Oh, so a pre-assembled encryption. Yeah, and the security officer over on the Odyssey could pull it apart. Yeah, that makes sense. That way I can give a full report. And they'll probably send it on the same encryption method, but, I'll have the way to decrypt it back, so.
I can hand you a copy of that encryption method.
So, Commander?
acceptable.
Okay, hooray. That's good to hear. Also...
I actually am... I have a favor with the Chief of Security on the Odyssey, so I think we get along.
Yeah. So, again, not to stand on ceremony. I know every ship's different. One ship insisted on bagpipes for some reason or another. But have you taken the captain's codes, Commander? If so, who's your nominated XO? Because I need to know the chain that I have to answer to. Because right now, I don't know who that is. I don't know who your XO is. Right now, I'm in a weird position where I'm speaking with an XO, but no CO.
Yes. I've taken the captain's command codes at this point.
May I ask
I
who
don't
the...
know when or if Captain Penn will be fit for duty again.
May I ask who the executive officer is?
I'll be nominating Lieutenant Commander Rylov as my executive officer.
Oh, that's a problem. Before I have a meeting that I want to have with Lieutenant Commander Rylov anyway. I need the services of a command officer to ask a legal question, and normally I would ask an executive officer, the XO of the boat, to stand in while I speak with the Chief of Security. Unfortunately, now the Chief of Security is the XO. So we're kind of at a weird position. I'm in a weird position. That this is more a me problem, but I'm not sure what to do about it.
As a JAG. You wish for someone to act as a JAG type of...
More executive voice of the crew role, less JAG. I don't think we're at the level of legal.
Voice of the crew.
Which, that's usually the XO's job, right? So...
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And...
Commander McClellan, I know it's unconventional, but I have served as the executive officer of the Achilles for 7 years now.
With all due respect, Captain, you are no longer the voice of the crew. And in this case, in a security matter, Rylov can't be the voice of the crew because he conflicts.
Would I be able to suggest someone?
And
this is entirely up to you to think about, but the Ambassador Senva.
Oh, never heard of using a civilian before, I suppose? He strokes his chin for a bit in thought.
The only reason I would bring her up is because she is entirely outside of any Starfleet chain, and as an ambassador is still privy to such things.
Oh, and I'm going to rewind a bit. When he called out for the ship to tell him the time, it wouldn't have answered because computer doesn't work. So he probably spent a bit going, wait.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I was also wondering about that.
I just blinked at that. Wait a minute. So there's McClellan's extra frustrated. He's like, he's very dependent on the computer to help him with stuff. But anyway. So he gets to a pad. He's about to look something up. And then he's like, oh, right. The computer's down. I can't look that up.
And I miss the days when he actually had to wear a watch.
Yeah. He's really wishing he had a watch right now. But anyway, I could use the ambassador. I can only imagine would have my interests at heart, I suppose. But that's so okay. Sorry, I got things. So that's resolved then. Sorry to take up more of your time, Captain. I'm glad I know the situation. So I believe our order of operations is that I'm going to get a pre-assembled encryption package in about an hour's time or so. I'll take off with one of the shuttles, get a bit of distance, and then broadcast, and then I'll report back if they have any suggestions or what they plan on doing. And also, while we're at it, I'll get updates on what your two ships, the Katana and the other one.
Wildfire.
Wildfire. The name seems familiar. Anyway. But yeah, I can get updates on what they're doing as well, since, they're in the same area. Should be, anyway.
Of course. That'll be appreciated, Commander.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the confusion.
Well, I mean,
Ship rolls.
it's... Things happen. I'm not... I'll admit I'll be... Well, for formality's sake, permission to speak candidly.
Mission granted, Commander.
I am distinctly uncomfortable with a ship like the Achilles, because in my time, very militaristic ship led to very militaristic solutions. But I also understand that your Starfleet officers held to a much higher standard than what my militaries were. But it always makes me uncomfortable to be on a, well, warship's not fair, but a security-focused ship. It always makes me a little itchy. So if I seem especially on edge, that's why. It's nothing personal. I don't know you two very well. Reputation I've heard is really nice. But, reputation's reputation, but what you actually do is what matters. So I'm trying to base it on that, not my preconceptions.
I appreciate
Interesting enough. So far as I know about you, you're one of the least likely people to hold unfortunate preconceptions about myself in one regard, but rather generalized ones in another.
I actually like Romulans just fine. It kind of reminds me of home, really. In a strange way.
That's
Yeah, for all intents
I
we're going to be going
You
around
were-
with that.
It's more, you never had to experience the hostility between the Empire and the Federation.
Yeah, not my
At its height.
Yeah, not my war, not my memories. So it's
The only general thing you might have is as you are and when you were from, compared to aliens, as a general thing. Which I'm not saying is a problem. I'm saying is just a generalization. I just fall under a general umbrella rather than a specific one for you.
Oh, there's a little specific. I was around when they joined the war in the Dominion War, so that's my preconception to a large degree, I'll admit.
Well, that was a high note.
Yes. Anyway, sorry, Captain. I'm taking. I know you're busy. If Ryloff, if we could have a word, assuming you don't have anything for me, Captain.
No, that'll be all.
Of course. I believe the only thing that the counselor needs to be made aware of would be that the lieutenant commander needs to carry out his duties as a liaison officer, unless I am mistaken.
Yes. That'll be all. And, Commander Rylov, after you finish your business with Commander McClellan, we'll need to speak.
Yes, Commander. Captain, sorry.
Let's.
Would you like
And
to
then I'll
go to
call
my
in
office?
Saleya. Well, they're doing that. Just
Or that works.
yeah.
I'll have to get to the bottom. I'll have to get to the bottom of this. Why is it always two nacelles? There must be an engineering principle.
Sometimes
Certainly not an aesthetic one.
There's been 1s, 4s, and 3s.
the threes make no sense to me. Says McClellan.
Are the fours faster?
No.
I don't see the point.
Then there is the Romulan philosophy of having 2 that are about 3 times the size of yours.
Yeah, but y'all also put black holes in things, and that's dangerous.
But it is efficient.
Commander?
Counselor.
I'll let you two do a scene while Senva gets up because McClellan calls to meet with her. And McClellan will actually ask you to speak in here because he knows that people will have to come and go, and he doesn't want this to be he doesn't want to have this conversation around other people, make it a whole scene, so to
Or we
speak.
can assume there's like another room that actually has chairs or whatever.
Yeah.
Somewhere over there, or his Rylov's office or whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever he's comfortable, because Rylov doesn't particularly mind.
Once Counselor seated, I'll say, Counselor, the pertinent information from that meeting is that Lieutenant Commander McClellan is fulfilling his duties as a liaison and will be contacting the U.S.S. Odyssey via a shuttlecraft with high levels of encryption.
Can we launch shuttles?
It's a bit of a laborious process, but yes.
Fascinating. I don't even think I needed to know that much information. It seems all routine.
It is.
Well, other than that, I must congratulate you on your abilities as a captain. You compartmentalized quite well. Got the crew moving without making them complicit.
Thank you, Counselor.
I really doubt that was a sincere thank you. I'm sure you don't want to do that.
I have every desire to be transparent with my crew, yes. And I will admit, I am thankful that you were able to play the part in the meeting. Everyone knows there's something more going on here. They just don't know what.
Well, give Ryloff 5 hours and everyone will know what.
God, you're giving me a fucking timer now?
More a statement of confidence in Ryloff.
Yeah.
I mean, who's ever heard of a Romulan security officer not getting to the bottom of an intrigue?
Indeed.
Well, that's because we make up a suspect.
Well said. I know we didn't have a chance to discuss it beforehand, but the line in the briefing was about what I was hoping for. I've made no secret of the fact that I'm not overly fond of politics or politicians, Counselor. And while we are on the same side here, I believe it would arouse undue suspicions from my senior staff if we were suddenly incredibly chummy.
That's fine. You may not be interested in them, but they are interested in you. And one thing to keep an eye on is, as much as you stick to the exact letter of the law rather than occasionally, very occasionally, dipping into the intent rather than the letter, the people we are facing live entirely in the exact letter. They know every loophole. They can abuse you in many different ways without ever violating the law, because that's the position they're in. And if you stick entirely within the law, you will not be able to fight back.
I've been Captain Penn's XO long enough to know that there's times to break the rules. I'm usually the voice of reason telling him not to.
Then you'll have seen why they sent these orders. They violated nothing and stayed entirely within the bounds, and they knew they would trap Captain Penn because they knew his history. They knew that eventually he would do exactly what you're talking about, and they would catch him out.
Right. We have a limited amount of time to catch all of our suspects and finish our pressing business in this sector. The clock is going to run out, so to speak, on how long I can push keeping us out here.
You should not be trying to... Yeah, that's fine. The goal is not to, violate your orders continuously and start some foolhardy expedition, phasers loaded, to demand change and reconciliation. You just needed to gain yourself enough time so that when you are recalled to Starbase, you cannot be outmaneuvered. And you've done that. You don't need to exceed anything further. You're already prepared.
I'll take a deep breath.
And from what I hear, the admiral between you and the council, at least one of them, will probably go to extreme lengths to protect you.
Hope so. Certainly owes me.
And if it ever goes really terrible, I hear Captain Pins was friends with some Klingons. Maybe they could help. I say jokingly. Please don't ask the Klingons for help.
Please don't. It'll make my entire life more hard.
Sorry, what was that? Ask the Klingons for help?
No, I've spoken with members of House of Kita.
House Russell would always help.
Embroil Klingons in these affairs.
Although I am sure they would have a very succinct solution for you.
Of course.
One-stroke solution, one might say.
I'm Andorian. I know the pleasures of the solutions to Blade.
See, that's what we're... Okay, I need to... Let's not get into that again.
I'm gonna sweep the scene over to McClellan and Rylov. And Ambassador Senva somewhere in an office elsewhere on the ship, as Celia and Thralic continue their getting to know each other and plotting their overthrow of the Federation. I mean, yeah, Senva looks a little confused that she's been called up. McClellan kind of just roughly clarifies why she's here at all, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll kind of, it's one of those, like, I guess I'm here.
If you're entirely willing to do that. You are the first person that came to mind when thinking about the least biased individual upon the ship.
Who would like to grab Senva in this scenario?
Hi.
So what does she answer?
That's the debate, so I will. I'm sorry, could you repeat the line?
Saying you were the first person that came to mind in terms of the least biased person aboard the ship.
Well, I am appreciative of the compliment. I do strive for impartiality. It is a critical skill for an ambassador. And she kind of like cocks her head and looks at McKellen and then looks back at Rylov. For what do you need my impartiality?
I just wanted to formally ask the Chief of Security, now XO, with a impartial voice of the crew, or I guess voice of the diplomatic corps of the Federation, but neutral party all the same. Am I under an investigation, and do I need a JAG officer?
Senfa raises a Vulcan eyebrow. Okay. Immediate question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the protocol and stance for me, an ambassador, to be giving like official legal advice, acting as the advocate for someone?
Reason, command, difficulty 2. It would be difficulty 1, but she's not Starfleet. This is a little outside of her normal moves.
Federation law is a focus?
Yes.
Okay. Reason, commands, traits, Kolinar, mind meld, not useful here.
Yeah, but she does have Kolinar, so coercing her is difficult.
Yeah.
3 threat.
3 threat die. Wow, all the momentum.
Wow.
3 momentum generated.
Yeah, when she cocks that Vulcan eyebrow, like 100 million calculations happen as she instantly, memorizes the exact text of the law that deals with this.
So at the moment, McClellan is having what amounts to an HR issue in Starfleet, and the head of HR is usually the XO. Unfortunately, now the security guy is also HR, so it's like, well, you're kind of the HR surrogate. You're acting as HR to make sure that one employee is not abusing their power over another employee, and that's why he wants the XO or you to be here. But he isn't asking for legal protection yet, because he would want a JAG officer, or a legal equivalent, which Senva is not qualified to be that, but she's familiar enough with the law that she can speak intelligently about it. But she's not a lawyer per se.
I think Senva says something like that verbatim. I am not a lawyer per se. I am merely someone who is, if I may speak so highly of myself, highly educated on the nuances of Federation law. I can give you, what is the human expression, under the table law advice. I, however, cannot act as your legal representation in an official questioning.
Oh, that's fine with me, Ambassador. I just needed, for propriety's sake, I wanted to make sure that, I wasn't saying stuff that demeaned Lieutenant Commander Ryloff, and he would not be accused of the same by me, so making this as amenable as possible.
Very well, then.
So your question was if you are presently under investigation.
Yes, and if I need a JAG officer.
Normally, I would double check this by going through the computer.
Yeah, it's starting to get annoying.
However, as the chief of security, I would assume that if any such investigation were taking place, I'd be aware of it, and as such, I am aware of no investigation against you.
Senva, kind of like unrelated, kind of looks away and says, I do find it odd that we are encountering so many mechanical problems of late. But yes, it is a frustration.
I suppose the other question, I assume, is no?
No, you would not need a JAG if you are not under investigation or facing any charges. The only reason I had questions for you is in regards as a witness and victim.
All right, then. Good. Well, I feel better now. Ambassador, thank you very much. I think from here we should be okay.
She might want to stay for one question I'd ask you in return.
Sure.
And you don't have to answer, this is just a curiosity. What makes you think you might be under investigation?
Well, it's... Maybe I overread into it, I'm overthinking this, but, I don't mean to demean a fellow officer, just to be clear, but Lieutenant Commander Nanerta seemed to voice suspicions that I was a temporal agent of some kind, and seemed rather agitated about it. So I was, which, ship's pretty tense. Lots of bad things are happening. I'm a new face. And a lot of the people who are either in holding or facing medical distress are also new faces. So I'm admittedly a little... I think I'm beginning to suspect Nanerta was just voicing a personal opinion or perhaps joking in some way. And I just misread it entirely.
A very small, No, I understand. Also, is what Ryloff is a secret? I don't think it is, right? He's not required to just not tell that.
Tell what? Oh, that he's a temporal agent?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to volunteer. You don't volunteer it necessarily, but it's not a protected secret. You are an active temporal officer of the the Time Fleet. So
just be like, if it's a different matter of reassurance. There's no investigation in that regard to you either.
Hmm? He looks confused.
In regards to temporal activities.
Well, he has to roll now.
How would you know such things?
Not if
I was recently recruited.
Oh. Gaining momentum. He kind of figured that out on his end.
Yeah.
Oh! You're a time agent. A temporal agent, whatever they're called.
Yes.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Which makes that vaguely amusing.
Don't you dare recruit me. I will refuse. I do not want to deal with any more time travel. I've done one big jump. I'm done. That's my fill.
It would be logical for such an agency to recruit an agent who has shown an adaptability at adapting to a time period that was not his birth.
Ambassador. The scene ends as McClellan's like, no, wait a minute. Please don't encourage him. These people, everyone else is away, tapping their chats.
I probably shouldn't, but like, I want to put you at ease, my guy.
Everyone's over here. It's so crowded.
You're not.
Good.
I was gonna say you're not doing anything wrong because I'm doing the wrong thing.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I've not done any temporal stuff.
But it's also every single time we try to make this guy feel better, we wind up saying something else that makes him feel worse. We're not very good at this.
Are you working for the good of the Federation? Are you working for the good and safety of that? Like, that sounds really, really sus. No. We mean that in the 24th century sense, not the Con Union Sync thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not a loyalty check.
Rylov is like, ironically, Rylov's the most straightforward person to talk to with. It's just like, no, this is how it is.
So,
the most straightforward person, it's not what people need.
I believe Nerda is back in the computer core, continuing the diagnostic.
Yeah.
Ven, where are you going? I kind of put you on the bridge by default, but I don't know where you're going.
Well, I was going to say bridge.
What are you up to up there?
On the bridge?
Yeah.
Presumably giving, working sensors and also giving Citrira any assistance that she may need with the data I gave her, because it is kind of
the computer is down.
Yeah, the computers are down and it's kind of a weird file format.
Sorry, say again. I missed the last bit. That's my bad. Sorry.
It's like in a weird file format because, of all the hoops we had to jump through to get it. It's very non-standard in that I gave it to her on a pad.
Yeah. Do you want her to try a kick at it now, or do you want to wait till the computer comes back?
I think we'll wait till the computer comes back, but Ven still will be there to lend a hand.
Give me Insight Command, difficulty of 2. As you're kind of minding the bridge and checking on things, and because communication's down, you're you have actual like runners with pads handing messages now, because the primary, comm badges help, but there's certain things that's like, no, we can't. Some stuff has to be, and the computer's down, so now the only computers that exist are the tricorders and the pads.
You said Insight Command?
Yep.
You know what? 3 momentum for 4 dice.
Certainly.
Why? Oh, there we go. And then, you know what? Screw it. I generate a bonus momentum.
Oh, there it goes. You get the feeling that the crew is uneasy at the moment. Immediately after the rumor about, because no one knows specifically the status of the captain right now, and the senior staff has yet to inform them what the situation is. There is unease among the crew because they don't know what's happened to the captain. Rumor mill's already going about what's happened to him, that he's injured. They don't know what, but there's lots of theories flying around about what happened. Medical is clamming up, which is making people gossip more. And medical is just uncomfortable because they go, we are required not to tell anybody if we know anything, so please stop asking me. Also, then there becomes
someone whisper that their friend in medical said that Asa said that you weren't allowed to talk about this big thing.
Yeah. And then you have, then what's kind of making the crew somewhat more uneasy is that they are, immediately after the captain is incapacitated, the ship basically shuts itself off for 2 of its systems. So now a very security-minded crew that's been through a lot is, the crew is on unofficial yellow alert. They haven't been ordered to be like this, but now everyone's on edge because they don't know if the ship's under attack or if they've lost the bridge staff.
Do I get any kind of inkling as to how long this can hold before something's gonna give?
Given the stats of this crew, honestly, let me check the traits. I think this crew, battle-hardened crew, hoplites, medics make do, pirate hunters. You have a lot of reasons why this crew is willing to give it a full star date, like a full day before they start. Before certain enterprising lower decks people are going to start investigating unofficially to figure out what's going on. But they're going to wait it out because they're like, well, maybe something's going on and we just need to bunker down and wait for it. But for now, but after a certain amount of time, they won't collapse, they won't completely mutiny or anything, but someone is going to start breaking rules to get answers if the senior staff doesn't loop them in.
Okay, in which case, could I spend my other Medal of Honor to get 2 bonus momentum and create an advantage of I have a pretty good outline of like what the issues are on the ground, and I can like bring that to either Asa or the commander as like a, hey, I'm noticing that this is like an actual issue.
Yeah, you're able to kind of piece together the rumors, and actually, you kind of have an extra advantage, I'll say, by virtue of the fact that you're a cadet turned ensign, so you are the most junior senior officer, as it were. So there's a lot more comfortableness, especially among lower deck people, to talk to you frankly about stuff, because you're not as scary to talk to. And to some of them, you were someone they mentored. Other people, you're a peer. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. As opposed to the big scary Commander Throlak, Commander Rylock, the Counselor Asa, the friggin' politician from the core world. Like, these are kind of scary people to talk to. They are several ranks above me. I don't want to call them out. Oh, I'll talk to you though.
Me, I'm just the go-getter, the fresh-faced officer.
Yeah. So yeah, you learn.
Sure, you could ask a certain Romulan what she's heard as well, because she hears everything.
Yeah. She has no reason. And the big questions are: what's the sabotage about? What's happened to the captain? What are we even doing anymore? And are we safe? Those are the big 4 things they're worried about.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna compile all that into onto a pad, and he's going to forward that to Asa.
And with that, the shadow of doubt and unease about the crew, that will be the end of the episode.
Aha.